welcome back to PSGL. George Horgan here and Jack Pinner. All the lights are currently lit here on track, and it is go, go, go! Donoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Shootout countdown, Danny Berezne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Borman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Good evening, everyone, and my camera isn't showing on the screen, but...
Oh, he's not even setting it up properly. He's playing double act and he's not even setting anything up. Oh, I suppose I'm supposed to have to introduce everyone. Honestly, Nathan, slacker, absolute slacker. But everyone, welcome here once again for PSGL Series, Season 4, Round 10. Of course, a finale around Bahrain. As I look over, Nathan has set himself back up. We have been so excited for this.
Yeah.
You know... I've been itching to see how this is going to play out. Since earlier this morning, I sat there and I thought about it. I just twiddled a pen around my thumb, and it's been on my mind all day long. Nathan, what can we even unpack out of this? It's looking electric.
It is. I mean, we got the overall championship that three teams, being Ferrari, Race Clutch, and Red Bull, are going to fight for, but also the community teams, being TRT, Velocity Academy, and TES, also have their little battle as well to see who will take home that £100 for the best community team. And we'll have a look at the standings on your screen now, where you can see who is where at the moment. And of course, Ferrari are at the top on 318 points. But if they didn't have that little bit of misfortune back in Las Vegas, the gap would have been higher. They're only 6 points ahead of Race Clutch in second, and Red Bull only 24 points behind from Ferrari. So three teams here in the heavy fight for the championship. The Aston Martin sitting P4 ahead of R8G, rounding out the top five on 237 points. And then this is where we have the battle for the community teams, because we got in P6, Tatum Racing Team on 202, P8, Veloci Academy on 180, then 3 points back in P9 are Thomas Sheng Sim Racing. So, two championships to fight for, but the main one, of course, Ferrari looking to get a third, but Race Clutch and Red Bull looking to get their first.
Honestly, I don't like the way this is going. Of course, you know, I've got my allegiances. I won't lie. Of course, Red Bull Sim Racing, where I work, it's a brilliant company. I'm hoping for them to win. I've even got myself a lovely little can to cheer them on a bit more. But at the end of the day, we know what esports is like. We know what sim racing is like. Let's be quite honest. Anything can happen. We had Yona Martins, one of the Ferrari engineers, in the chat earlier, saying, may the luckiest team win, because it can very much come down to luck, especially around a track such as Bahrain, where it's not going to be like we saw last week with Las Vegas, with the slipstreams, with the ERSs. It'll be a little bit more tactical. It'll be a little bit more thought through from a couple of the teams. Yeah. And we've seen every single team on this grid make a mistake somewhere throughout the season, whether we cast our minds all the way back to Kota, where Race Clutch fumbled. And we could even, look at the likes of Kota for Red Bull, for example, and Freddie having a bit of a technical issue, a little bit of a slip up there as well. Yeah. There's so many sort of little different increments that a lot of these guys we'll just need to be aware of and need to carry it through because Bahrain is one of those circuits. You make the slightest mistake, you're paying so much time, not only in qualifying but in the race as well throughout the course of the 29 laps we're going to have here today.
Yep, certainly. And before we head our way into the session, we'll have a quick look at the driver lineups for this evening. So Race Clutch, who are second in the championship, they have Rhys Hinton and Lenny Pepinta. Aston Martin have Duncan Hoffland and Fabrizio Donoso. Veloce Academy take in Riley McKay and Leo Lund. R8G have Thomas Gall and Thomas Ronhar. Ferrari, John Evans and Barry Burmand. McLaren have Lucas Blakely for his first appearance alongside Shimon Lekomsky. TRT have Valentino Labella and Angelo D'Ortenzio. Red Bull have Tom Manley and Declan Barrett. TES, Nelson Alves and Daniel Koyam, as Ben Marples was recently announced to Veloce Academy, so he won't be there for TES. And then Williams have Ruben Progenio and Ishmael Fassi. So we have 8 esports drivers on the grid and at least 10 which definitely have the pace to be in the esports scene. So heading into this one, Josh, in qualifying, it's going to be very interesting indeed. And I'm going to say, are we meant to have daylight in Bahrain?
No, it was set to midnight, which I'm very apologetic for. That's not exactly what we're after. Okay, interesting. Hold on, let me have a crack here.
With people retiring, I believe we have a restart.
Yep, we do have to restart because for some reason it's set to sunset instead of midnight, which isn't exactly what I put it on. But yeah, no, apologies there for that one.
Yeah, well, great. So we'll move back over to our own, to our other screens, and we'll have a quick look actually at the results as well from last race in Las Vegas.
Yes.
So of course, Yoda Upmere took the victory, 35 points added to his name and to Red Bull's points tally. Rhys Linton finished second, and Angelo D'Ortenzio, second podium for TRT, and his second podium as well this season. We had Nelson Alves in the top 4 as well, brilliant from him. Otis Lawrence as well. Lillian Derbacourt, Mirko, Tycho, Julian, and Declan rounded out the top 10 in that race with the fastest lap going to Liam Stevens. But another thing to note here, Josh, is that the guy on pole takes an extra point, and that could be, surprisingly, that could mean a lot here for the likes of Race Clutch, Ferrari, and Red Bull, couldn't it?
Yeah, it certainly can be, and it's one of those things where it will just build up over time. You won't necessarily think too much of it, but then you think 5-6 races in, if you've been able to secure 5 or 6 pole positions, you're looking at, well,
5-6 points.
Exactly. And, given how close the championship is, especially between Ferrari and Race Clutch, that could very easily sway the timing here.
Yeah, it certainly could. It'd be interesting as we'll just wait for that lobby to end. We'll head back over to the intermission screen, and hopefully we can get things started soon. My camera is very delayed, so just you take it away. I'm going to try and sort this out quickly.
That's okay. Currently just going through the lobby restart, having to retire from both sessions. Try and get everyone back as soon as possible. Slight error on my side. I'll hold it up. Apologies all. But end of the day,
again.
Oh dear. It's technical difficulties, honestly.
It's done it again. Oh no, Q2.
Q2, Q3, and then of course a race as well. We're all gonna have to retire through. So everyone retire, go grab some drinks. It's all good. It's okay.
Start again. Get back.
It's okay.
Well, luckily, we don't need to make a new session. We could just sort all this out quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Just retire halfway through it. Quick setting change, and end of the day, we should be up and rolling straight away. Well, go on.
About Bahrain, Josh, is that the last time we raced here was the opening of season 2, and in that race it was Ferrari that won, with Race Clutch second and third. So these two teams have experience around Bahrain, being at the top. I mean, I'm just going to read the 2 drivers that drove for Race Clutch then. Sabrino and Gal. Oof, that takes you back, doesn't it?
Mate, glory days. Back when I was fresh-faced in the scene.
And the winner was Dylan Warren, the man himself, Dylan Warren, who we haven't seen this season, I think, bar one appearance.
Honestly, E-Series legend.
Oh, of course.
I'm putting it down there. If there's ever going to be an E-Series Hall of Fame, Dylan Warren gets in there for me. Who gets in there for you?
Dylan Warren's got to be there. I mean, I remember back season 1 when he was a TF10 and they had a poor couple of races towards the end of the season. He jumped in. I think it was like P10 or something to P1 in Canada on the F122 game. Then got another couple of podiums and really brought the team back up. So Dylan's going to be up there. But then looking through, there's so many drivers that have been here throughout the seasons. I mean, Will Lewis, he took part in, most of season 2, 3, and this season. There's so many drivers that we see turn up every week for this series, and it's great to see, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Especially having some of the teams having some rotating lineups, rotating doors, getting fresh faces in every couple of weeks. It's really something that you take a look at and you feel like, why can't F1 sim racing be more like that and try and encourage a bit more dynamicism? We're going to pretend that's a word. Yeah, I know, it's a big word, especially for a Brummy dad like me, honestly. Pat myself on the back for that one. But no, it's one of those things where it does offer a bit more variety, and it's something that I feel like each and every single one of us can get behind. Because at the end of the day, there's so many talented drivers in the likes of F2, F3 over here, the Ironman series over in WR, but they do deserve opportunities to represent their teams and their clans on a big stage. And other than F1 sim racing, the next biggest one, it is E-Series.
It is, yeah. E-Series is just, it's growing and growing. I mean, season 1, it was, I remember I did that with Dan. I joined in halfway through, and it went, it went well. We had a couple of the esports teams in. Season 2, it got bigger. And then, of course, heading into season 3 and season 4, the viewership, the engagement, the amount of teams signing up as well from the esports team. We have 7 this season, which is insane. I mean, we had, I think, 2 in season 1. We got 7 esports teams signing up this season. So it's great to see how serious that E-Series is being taken. But while we wait again, Josh, we'll head over to the calendar. And I want you to pick out, it's going to be a hard one, but what has been your favourite race this season and why?
Oh, mate, you've absolutely just done me there. I've got to say Great Britain. I've got to say that Silverstone circuit. The entire kerfuffle at the end of the day, elite in my opinion. I know some people don't like it, some people aren't happy with it, but for me, absolutely bliss. I loved every single part of that. I felt like it was amazing, it was entertaining, it was fun. Yeah, I can't say anything against it, to be honest with you.
Britain was up there for sure. I mean, it was a brilliant race at the end. But my favourite race takes us back to race 2, Texas, COTA, when we had that brilliant final lap, the final 5 laps with the 2 Ferraris and Lenny Papinta, and then there was a couple of other cars behind getting involved as well. That was a really good race. So that might be my race of the season. And guys in the chat, to stop you from just sitting there being bored, let us know what was your favourite race of the season. Because, I mean, it's a hard one because there's been that many brilliant races this season. You just got to pick a name out of a hat at this point. It's that difficult to pick the best because, yes, we know that it's not been the best in terms of for the drivers, but for the viewership, for us, it's been brilliant, hasn't it? It's been box office.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been fantastic to see all the interactions you guys have had, both on the YouTube and the Twitch side. It's been brilliant to get you guys involved, and honestly, couldn't have asked for anything more.
Definitely not. And luckily, guys, we're in, and we are at night time, so we can continue and get ourselves into the Q1 session. And now, Josh, this is when the action hits the track. 20 drivers. We've got 3 teams, 6 drivers looking to fight for the main championship. We've got the 3 community teams as well fighting for their £100. This is going to be an absolutely amazing night. So, guys, make sure you get your popcorn, your drinks, your cup of tea, your coffee, whatever you want, because you're not going to be able to leave that seat until the end of a session, and you got 15 seconds and we're back in, because you will not want to miss any of the action here tonight, because this could be, Josh, one of the best moments here I think E-Series has ever seen, because the one thing that makes it even more interesting is these 3 teams are consistently at the top, and with the way that the racing works on this game with everyone being so close together, it's going to be carnage. And sometimes that whole team working thing can't really work because everyone's that close together. You just got to kind of go for it, haven't you?
Yeah, everyone's kind of just got to pick it up, give it a go, have a little bit of running, as we do have the clock reset up in the top left. Hopefully that means everyone's connected, because there were a couple of mentions about Duncan not being able to connect. Hopefully he'll be able to connect, and hopefully he'll have all of his soft compound tyres. Fingers crossed. He should be. I hope he is. For his sake, the driver's sake, and everyone's sake.
It'd be great. I mean, obviously, Daniel Coyle has got a what's the word now? A quali ban. That was it. I couldn't get the words out then. Yes, he's got a quali ban because they put him in last minute because of Ben Marples, obviously heading off to Veloce Academy. That got announced around, I think, an hour or 2 ago. So obviously, Daniel Coyle has been put into the seat last minute and has got a quality band because of that. So certainly not ideal for a team looking to fight for the £100 in the Communities Championship, but of course anything can happen here in E-Series, and those three generally we do see one or two of them out in Q1 and Q2, so not really at that much of a disadvantage. But I think this season, my star driver has got to be Angelo D'Ortenzio.
Oh, you took it. You took it from me. As soon as you said star driver, I was like, okay, D'Ortenzio. Because, I mean, I presume you're going to say the exact same thing. He has just been an animal.
Yeah, he has. I mean, came over from, I think it was from PS. I'll be honest, he came to PC, I thought, who is he and why is he in F3? Because I've never heard of him before. And I've been here for, 2 years? Who is he? Came here and has been flawless in E-Series. You know, he's raced against some of the best. Has came up with 2 podiums, multiple top 10 finishes. He's pretty much carried Tatum to a P6 here at the moment, I've got to say. You know, and of course we had Mirko as well.
Yeah, I was about
Angelo,
to say.
the consistency from this guy has been unreal. I think he also took a win. Wasn't it his second race in F2 this season when he got moved up?
Yeah, he gets moved up. He just wins races. He disappears for a little bit. He comes back. He wins more races. He's like a machine. I'm not sure where he came from. You know, Terminator-esque. He just shows up, rocks up, races, wins, calls it a day, goes home.
Exactly.
As a kip,
yeah.
and it's absolutely fantastic to see. We know so many of these drivers showing week in, week out in the leagues, and I suppose, for me at least, it's a nice reminder that you don't have to be like one of the most active drivers out there to really get involved here at E-Series. You've just got to be within a team, have a fundamental understanding of racing, and be quick enough to qualify. And
enjoy it,
mate. Honestly. But some of the performances he's put in, you could put him in PCF1 with those performances, in my opinion. He's been by far and away one of the best drivers we've had. But again, he's not alone. There's many other drivers who have had absolutely stellar performances. Most notably, I've got to say, both race clutch.
Yeah, both of them. I mean, race has been decent. I've seen the whole series. I mean, the races over in WRT1. I think at the end of the last game, he also made a couple of appearances in F1. Josh, you here?
I am here. What's up?
Oh, I thought you cut out for me. My bad. And my game cut out, so I thought there was an issue with the audio, but no, it's fine. But yes, as I was saying, of course, Reese and Lenny, you know, Lenny's, again, I do feel bad for him. You know, many accusations in the past, and he's fought through them the whole time.
Yes. He's not laid back on his laurels, has he? He's not took that thought, right, okay, this is it for me. Let's call it here. He's been more than happy to come back each and every single time. Give it his all. He's not let, social media affect him. He's not let any of the other drivers really rattle him as well, because that is a thing that some drivers will tend to do. I'm not going to mention names, but some drivers will try and rock the boat just a little bit and try and cause a little bit of discomfort between other drivers and, other teams. But again, he's just kept to himself. He's focused on what he's able to control, and he's reaping the benefits of it completely.
For sure, indeed, as we do see a few cars just setting their intermediate lap times. We've got Donoso, Linson, Gal, Alves. London will have Thomas Ronhar come through as well to set his time on the intermediate tyres. But I think, another driver that I've got to say I've been surprisingly proud of is Leo Lund, because he got into Q3 a couple of races ago in Britain. I think he can do it again. He's a quali merchant, the legend, isn't he, here in PSGL E-Series. And I've got to say, the one mad thing I find about Leo Lund is he's been as quick as he is now for the last couple of years. He's only just turned 15. The drivers are, 13, 14, 15 years old, and they are competing at the top, which is insane.
It's terrifying.
The amount of mental pressure you must have on yourself at that age and to be able to cope with it is insane, I've got to say.
Yeah, they're not fully grown, they're not fully developed. They've still got room to improve, and it's terrifying to think. I remember Nico Benz back in last season as well.
12,
again,
wasn't he?
joint quickest in the qualifiers, and he was absolutely rapid. And I was okay, Nathan. I've barely seen this lad. Tell me a bit about him. And you just turn around and go, "Yeah, he's 12, by the way." Like
mental, isn't it?
That's year 8 for those of you who are in a UK schooling system, and that to me is absolutely ridiculous. When I was in year 8,
Kimi Antonelli's coming through, Max Verstappen's and Kimi Antonelli's.
Genuinely,
that's brilliant. But then again, that's what makes this scene so good now, because I think we all know there's certain drivers at the top who think they're comfortable in their position. Because I've been here since season 1 or season 2 of F1 Esports. I'm fine where I am. But with the amount of drivers coming through at such a young age, these teams are picking them up left, right, and centre. And some of these older drivers are really at risk of their seats.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not gonna beat the horse when it's down, but McLaren Shadow at the moment with Lucas Blakely, gone on. He's doing incredible things over in GB4.
Yeah.
Well, when's it gonna be that time for McLaren to go? Okay, we can't keep you as a sim racing driver anymore. You're getting funding to go race in these GB4 competitions. It's just going to look bad on you. It's going to look bad on us if we have the likes of, these Nico Benzes, these Leo Lunds rocking up, who are, 6, 7, 8 years younger than you, beating you in the game when that was your ticket to get into real motorsport. It opens a whole interesting dynamic, which I'm sure is going to cause many headaches in the future. But at the minute, we don't have to care. We're just here to enjoy it and see what brilliant performances these lads are able to put on out there tonight.
And, two of the drivers that we could mention being young and upcoming stars, Tom Manley and Declan Barrett. Two brilliant drivers, of course, both coming from the Xbox scene. Tom Manley came across the PC a lot earlier than Declan. Of course, I can't remember what Tom's name was on Xbox, but I know Declan's was WOR and PSR Smokey. I remember commentating him on the crossplay cup back at the start of 2023. And since then, he's developed brilliantly as a driver. And great to see him here in E-Series. And, of course, join the Red Bull team as a development driver. In a couple of years, Josh, I'm sure you'll be having his name written down because, honestly, he's superb, isn't he? A superb driver. And, I do speak to Declan a lot, and he's a great guy as well to speak to.
Mate, honestly, at this point, Nathan, is there anyone else here that you're friends with who you want to give a shout out? You've given one to Leoland, you've given one to Declan. Next thing you know, we're going to be getting Will Gibson in the chat asking for a shout out.
Oh, no.
Mate.
Well, he's already told me he's going to listen to it muted because he doesn't want to hear a Brummie, so...
Which one? Which one?
Maybe the one that supports Birmingham.
Yeah, no, there's no recovering that one, mate. I'm sorry. But
come on, guys, you're making us waffle.
Come on, chat. Where are you guys? Where are you guys at? Come on. Would it help if I told a story about Jarno being in New Zealand again?
Oh, filming The Hobbit.
No, it's not actually The Hobbit this time.
Oh, isn't it?
They've evolved it.
Oh, what is it? Lord of the Rings?
No. 50 Shades of Sim Racing.
Oh,
yeah. It's great. It's looking like a solid book title. I'm not gonna lie.
Is it?
Yeah.
50 Shades of Sim Racing.
Yeah, it shows you how you can actually use your clutch on F1. It's brilliant. I know we're gonna need it to get off the starting grid. It's always a problem for us.
You never know, Josh. A couple of weeks' time, maybe.
Maybe. A little rumours about a commentators' cup here at PSGL. So you guys can watch George and Jack, Dan, all of which bin it into turn one. Me and Nathan struggling around at the back as we always do.
I mean, just keep an eye out, guys, because there might be something about that in a couple of days.
Okay.
I mean, I'll get to lap Josh again. No, sorry. Go past Josh for him to get disqualified because he didn't pit.
No. You've got to hold this over until the end of my days, aren't you?
I will.
Wait, it's vile. Disgusting. Instead of hanging that over my head, how about we hang a picture of Lenny Papinter up? Because he's the first car out there looking to start his what a guy. Honestly, I'm not sure whether any other driver out there could have gone through what the likes of Lenny had gone through over the last couple of years and come out still as a very happy, jovial, cheerful young gentleman.
Not bothered, to a sense.
It's like he genuinely doesn't care. He proved to himself that he wasn't cheating. That's what he cares about. And he's absolutely been stellar so far. So I'm expecting big things here for the final couple of runs in qualifying. Because there's only 8 minutes left to go. You got to think in lap,
2 runs,
out lap, 2 runs.
That's it.
Maybe calling it a little bit fine, but of course Daniel Kaya with the qualifying ban. It's a lot of food for thought for the rest of the drivers. 4 spots to go out. Last thing you want to do early on in Q1 is overthink anything.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the likes of VA and TRT really are in a position where they want to kind of maximise this TES quali ban because P20 only gets 1 point. Your P10, you're already on 18, so you get such a big jump between the back and just getting into the top 10. So, of course, TRT and Velocity Academy will be looking heavily into trying to get both of their drivers through into the top 10, but still they've got to get them out of Q1 because we've still got 7 minutes to go in this qualifying session here. I'm just on board with Lenny Papinter heading down to the hairpin at turn number 8. And of course, this track, it's tricky in quali. It's a common track. Everyone knows a Bahrain circuit. But this corner here, turn on and 10, it's a horrible one, isn't it, Josh? It's so easy to lock up. And also that curb. You get caught on that curb, goodbye lap time because you're going to flip round into a circle.
Yeah, and then sometimes as well, it'll even send you airborne, but I feel like that's because I forgot which pedal was my brake and which one was my clutch. But that's beside the point, because Lady Defender is showing us exactly how it's done. Rising up here, of course, past the old curb, where if you touched even slightly on the previous titles, you were facing backwards in half a second, and you'll be lucky to survive with both your wrists intact. But Lenny now approaching towards a back straight. No DRS down this straight. I always felt it might be a little bit better if we had DRS.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
But then at the same time, with the way DRS has been in this game, kind of glad there's not DRS there to give it an overtaken opportunity into the final two corners before approaching up towards the line. Lady Defender with the first realistic time on the board, and it's a 1:26.246, followed by his teammate with a 1:26.216.
Yes, and the two Ferraris going to look to cross the line. Barry Burman first. What can he set on the time? A 26.166. So lots of ones, lots of sixes here. As John Evans goes up into third place there with a
No ones or sixes.
26.243.
Brilliant.
We head our way through. A few more drivers crossing the line there. Nelson Alves into P6. Declan Barrett's up into third. Donoso up to the top there for Aston Martin with a 0.157. As we see Tamas Gal there, I think, was setting a time, but no, I think that's his intermediate time, so that wouldn't have been him. That would have been Angelo going up into P10. Blakely to the top by a tenth and a half nearly to Donoso. A brilliant lap time there from Lucas Blakely. We do see the two Williams drivers head through. Firstly, it'll be Ishmael Fassi, goes into P9. What about his teammate? Pedreño goes up into P10 there, just ahead of Leo London. We see there Tamas Gal go up into P12. What about Thomas Ronhar here, as he goes up into second without much of a surprise? And at the back, we still have Tom Manley and Duncan Hoffland to cross the line. Hoffland goes third. What about Tom Manley? Where does he go for Red Bull? P3. Look at the times there.
Identical.
Matching.
Oh, okay. Right, everyone roll up your sleeves. Get your gloves on, because I feel like this might call for a bit of a surgical...
Brilliant, isn't it, that?
It's
3,000, 3 cars. Blakely, Ronhar, Manley, 3 teams. Ooh. And well, Josh...
Directly behind them, you've got both the Aston Martins. Mate, I don't want to say it's very much like we've got Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen over here at PSGL, but something recently has just been cooking a little bit better than it has done previously.
I mean, we've got 24 points separating the top 3 in the championship. So far in Q1, they're all so close together. It's Ferrari race clutch, Red Bull, Ferrari race clutch. Those are the 3 teams fighting for the championship. If they can go to Q3 together like that, 6 cars in the top 10,
Mate,
fighting for the World Championship in E-Series. Ferrari looking to get third. Not a double, triple here in E-Series. Red Bull looking to do it on debut, and Race Clutch looking to do it on their 4th time here in E-Series. No matter who wins, it's going to be such a memorable championship for them, won't it?
Yeah, of course. It doesn't really matter which way you put it. You've either got the treble with Ferrari, as you mentioned, Red Bull debut winners, or you've got race clutches after rebranding, resurgency, coming back, striking vengeance, and then you add to that the fact that potentially in the top 10 we could have both the Aston Martin cars, a certain Thomas Ronhar, and also F1 World Champion Lucas Blakely added to the mix. Mate, I don't think there could be a better top 10 if you asked for it, to be quite fair. But of course, that's without considering the likes of Ishmael Fassi, Simeon Lekomsky, Ruben Pedreño, your favourite Leo Lund, fan favourite Tamas Gal. He's retiring from a session. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
P7's fine. I mean, at point 2, he's about 2 tenths off the cut-off time, but is that enough? It's going to be close. I mean, we've seen it before, haven't we?
Okay, right. We're playing chicken now at this point, aren't we? Is John going to retire next door? Is he feeling a bit vulnerable?
But then again, if this pays off for Reese, that's good for him towards the end of Q3 because he'll have more tyres than the others if they have to go out. So this could pay off well, but also could drop him out of Q1. Barry also retires up in P6. So I think either way, Thomas Ronhar's safe because of the 4 behind him of DNF. But Reese and Declan, depending what type of lap times people are below put in, they could certainly be at risk. I mean, we got in the drop zone now, Nelson Alves, he's always been in Q3, I think this season, bar 1 or 2 occasions. We've had Angelo as well, who's took pole. We've got Tamas Gal, Ruben, Isma, who could all get themselves to the top 8 qualifying. So there's some very quick drivers that haven't really shown, I think, what they're made of here in this session just yet. But with 2.5 minutes to go, this is going to be a spicy ending here to Q1. But TRT, this is the last thing they need, a double Q1 knockout when they are sitting above both of their community team standing challengers.
Yes. But then again, you consider it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have these bigger teams just underestimated the laps the others are put in? Because to me, looking down there at TRT, yeah, okay, they're not exactly in, the greatest position at the moment, but we've seen time and time again, they're comfortable getting both cars through into Q3, given it's the right day. If it's a bad day, they'll still more than likely get one of their cars through. So for me, it's a very brave move they've decided to do.
It's interesting.
With both, to be quite honest with you, with all of them, with, Fabrizio, Barry, Reese, and Declan, given the small detail of a tenth and a half separating, potentially being into that bottom 15, where Tamas Gal is at the moment, in comparison to their lap times, where they're sitting pretty in the top 8?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
it's a lot.
Tamash is a surprise down there, isn't he? We should not be down in P15. It's like watching, the likes of Lewis Hamilton be out in Q. We'll be in that position. It never happens. And Tamash Galley's probably top 5 in terms of qualifying here, I think, on the grid, because his qualifying pace is mental, isn't it? Absolutely mental.
Absolutely. But of course, qualifying is only one part of it. Race as well will come through. It has to be thought about for these guys. That maybe opting for a bit more of an aggressive race strategy rather than a qualifying one. If they're feeling comfortable that they can overtake on this version of the game around Bahrain, all the power to them. Because I know a lot of these other teams are going to be looking to try and get a good qualifying, try and use that little bonus battery they've been given with a patch, and kind of continue it through. As Malone correctly in chat says, 8 ego retires. That's crazy. It's an ego if it works, though. Let's be quite honest. It could very much just be a straight confidence.
I mean, but then again, it does help them when it comes to having more tyres for the next session. So we'll see how this part of Q1 goes. Of course, 30 seconds to go until the checkered flag. Everyone will cross the line before the checkered flag so they can all finish their lap times. And we have 9 to 19th, so 10 cars looking to secure themselves more comfortably into Q1, and the top 8 thinking they are already safe heading into Q2. But we could certainly lose maybe 1 or 2 of that top 8, depending what sort of pace some of these drivers near the back have here. Just on board with Valentino Labella as he heads his way down towards turn 11. With that DRS being enabled, we'll see how much he's up by in the second sector. Obviously, he'll get to that as he heads through into turn number 12. As he heads his way through, doing a good job so far is Valentino on this lap, and would love to get TRT out of Q1. Let's see, is he up in the middle sector? He's up by 2.5 tenths here, Josh.
That has a little bit of extra room he can cook with here. Of course, 26.6 isn't the ideal lap time. You would have to think that he would have backed off around more than just the corner he made for mistake in. He wouldn't be taking it full send. He'll just be looking just to try and get a lap time on the board. But this is the moment where he'll be pushing, where he'll be carrying it through up towards the line.
Ooh.
P15. It's not a confident start for the TRT drivers.
It's not, but Lukomsky goes up into P4 there, just behind Tom Manley. We've got Tamashkal heading to the line as well. Evans goes into P8. We see Nelson Alves. He's out in Q1. He won't make it through to the Q2 session. Labella's out as well. He's down in P16. 2 cars left to cross the line who are in the drop zone. Riley McKay just behind Ruben Progenio. He won't make it through either to Q2. And Angelo is out in Q1 as well. And Ishmael Fassi. That was a close one there. P15 for the Williams driver. Normally someone who's very quick around this circuit. He'll be P15, so making it through by the skin of his teeth. But TRT having both their drivers out. TS having both their drivers out. And Veloci Academy with only one driver through into Q2 with Leo Lund with a nice lap of a 126.152.
There you go. Keep picking your mate up. Absolutely no worries whatsoever, Nathan, because you got to ask the question. Did a lot of those drivers have to go and do a lap at the end of that Q1 session? I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say I don't feel like many of them needed to. If Declan was able to retire, you could think maybe a couple more could have been able to save another set of tyres. But as you say, the gaps are ridiculous. 2.5 tenths separating P1 down to P15. I'd like to say, you're never going to see anything like this again. But here in E-Series, it's a formality. It's a common occurrence, and that's part of the brilliance of it.
It certainly is. I mean, a big shame there for TRT, especially Angelo, who's normally through into Q2 quite easily. This time does not make it by just over half a tenth of a second. And Ishmael Fassi cutting it close there with the P15. And also Declan Barrett was very close himself to going out in Q1. So, of course, took that risk. And it did pay off, luckily, in the end for him. But, of course, all of our top 3 in the championship make it through into Q2. And we'll see if any of them get knocked out going into Q3. But so far, McLaren also looking very strong at P1 and P4 there for Lucas and Shimon. So maybe they could try and bring a fight and just try and disrupt that little party for the championship. Remember, they are P7, but they're not that far away from a top 5. So maybe McLaren can try and push to take a top 5 away at the end of this season here in Bahrain.
Absolutely, and you know, you got to think, if you are a McLaren, if you are a Lucas Blakely, a lot of these drivers you will be racing against F1 Sim Racing whenever that's going to happen, and a lot of these drivers you do race against, you know, in the likes of PCF1, in the likes of Tier 1 and WOR. There are opportunities here that you can sow a little bit of discontent in them. Well, that's going to be taking, you know, aggressive racing strategies against them, pushing them slightly wide off track. End of the day, if you're not in a position where you're going to be able to benefit from, you know, prize pool, resources like that, you might as well start lining up and setting up for that opportunity to do so in other categories, in other races where you can try and push it out a little bit more. You can be a little bit cheeky here, because the biggest effect, I suppose you could probably say, is them getting beaten by community teams. But with the rate it's going, and especially considering Race Clutch's scenario, I would consider them to be a community team at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. The community teams definitely want to try and beat the esports teams, and the esports teams don't want to be beat. You know, that's the last thing they want. But then again, the good thing about having these community teams here in the likes of PSGL E-Series is that these esports teams can see how they perform, see what they can do against some of the top caliber drivers, and then bring them into their esports teams. We've seen many drivers who have raced in community teams in the past, in Season 1, Season 2, now find themselves in to some of the pro teams. I think an example will be Dylan Warren, of course, raced for TF10 back in Season 1 and I think Season 2, then, of course, took his seats up in Ferrari for the next couple of seasons. So, you know, we do see some of those success stories from drivers here racing in E-Series and also in the main tiers here at PSGL. But we do have our first laps underway here. Leo Lund taking a very weird line into turn 1, going all the way up to the wall as he heads into the first braking zone just after that 100-meter board, gets the car turned in nicely and back on the power instantly up towards turn number 4, of course, having that second dose of DRS into the next braking zone. But looking a little bit further down as well, obviously Declan Barrett cut it a bit close heading into Q2, and I think mainly that was because he decided to retire. I think he would have easily made it through if he, of course, set that extra lap, but he didn't need to, did he? And luckily, he didn't get knocked out, so it makes it even easier for him to say, well, I didn't need to, and I knew perfectly fine that I'd make it through by 2 cars.
Absolutely, and something I do just want to point out. There's one driver going completely against the grain, doing his own run plan, doing his own thing, going to the beat of his own drum, and it's Tom Manley. Staying in the pits, not choosing to get a lap on the board. Perhaps a fatal blunder, or is it a piece of masterwork? Is it a big brain moment, 400 IQ for Tom Manley at the minute? Because right now, can't really tell. With hindsight, we're going to be able to find out. But I'm going to ask for your opinion on it, Nathan. What do you reckon it is?
I think it doesn't want to waste tyres, and there's no point in going out. I mean, all these here, I think most of them are on a set of the used softs. Is there much point Tom Manley going out again on used soft using Q1? No, I think he might as well just stay in and go out maybe right at the end, or possibly just go for 2 runs around 8 minutes in, or maybe 7 minutes in, and then of course a run at the end. But we do see some lap times heading through. Barry Burman to the top there with a 0.345, a tenth and a half ahead of John Evans, his teammate. Blakely goes up into 3rd, Fassi up into the top 4. And we do see Papinta currently be seated down in that drop zone. Not ideal for him at all in the race clutches. We do see both Aston Martins have an invalidation, so they'll be 14th and 15th at the moment. But after the first run's completed, Papinta sees himself in the drop zone, but then again, he was definitely on a set of the used tyres, being as he was, you know, he's what, a second off what Barry Burman did, so definitely not a representable lap at all from Lenny.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got to think, maybe it is a bit of a masterwork stroke here from Tom, because he gets to gauge what the other drivers have done, understand a little bit more about that, and he won't have a necessary confidence blunder if he ended up making a mistake on a used set of tyres, or, for example, if he was like both the Aston drivers and invalidated his lap, he won't have that confidence knock. He'll be able to keep his motivation high after Q1 and continue that into his first run here in Q2. But with that being said, it does add a little bit more pressure onto the young man's shoulders. But with everything we've seen from him so far, both here at PSGL and in F1 Sim Racing, it doesn't seem to bother him too much, to be quite honest, does it?
No. I mean, I suppose the good thing about some of these younger drivers are that the pressure isn't that much on them, because they're not... It's like they're not bothered, is it? But they do care. It's such a weird thing, because some of the drivers here care a lot. and they'll put everything to it, and the pressure hits them when they go out onto into qualifying. But for some of the drivers, they put themselves into a mindset of, well, if we don't qualify the best, we've got the race still to go. So they don't they don't seem like they have too much pressure heading into the quali session, which I think we can see definitely with a lot of drivers on the grid. Looking at the likes of Declan, Tamash, Tom, but then a couple of them sometimes in the race might flop a bit. It's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's perfectly natural. All these drivers will have their strengths, have their weaknesses. It's about understanding how you can maximise your strengths and minimise your weaknesses. Because at the end of the day, you're never going to be able to get rid of all your weakenesses.
Exactly.
We're all humans at the end of the day. All of us will make flaws. But it's about understanding how you can minimise them, move yourself forward.
Oh.
I've just realised this has just turned into a waffling podcast in between these qualifying runs, hasn't
Josh.
it? Yes, mate.
Interesting point. I've just noticed. Both McLarens have got the same pit lane. Pit box.
That's interesting, considering they
Lucas went
don't
in.
have the same livery.
Yeah, Shimon followed him into the same pit box. So McLaren have actually got the right pit box.
Oh my word. Miracles do happen. There you
Which
go.
I mean, going into the race, they know that they're not going to get held up unless it's a teammate, isn't it? Or
Oh,
does
well,
he just use whichever pit
lobby
box? How does
restart,
it
mate.
work?
It's lobby restart, isn't it? So it'll be
Oh, yeah,
randomised
it
once
is.
again. But it's
Oh, no.
at least it's nice doing qualifying.
Exactly.
They can't
yeah.
synchronise liveries, but they can synchronise pit boxes. RNG magic.
Of course. And the first driver on track will be Leo Lund here
Oh,
with
here we
just
go.
over 8 minutes to go.
He's massive.
The driver that everyone seems to love here. Will Gibson, always an advocate here of Leo Lund, but didn't have that much confidence in Q1. He said in the chat, Nathan thinks we're both going into Q2 or something like that, or we think we're getting out of Q1. Well, one of them did, Will. So you got to hope that Leo can get his way through into Q3. I mean, at the moment, he's in P7, so it's not the worst position in the world, considering there is 5 drivers behind him that have also set laps.
Yeah, it is very much one of those things where you can sit back and think, if Will Gibson spent the amount of time engineering his drivers that he did in the YouTube chat, they would always get at least in the front 2 rows of the grid. That's all I'm going to put it out there. I want to see MasterChef cook, and I want to see Leo Lund do something fantastic here. But then again, we can say the same with a lot of these other drivers, because to be quite honest with you, all of them have the potential to make it through to Q3. It feels like I've said
everyone.
that every single round, in every single qualifying, but all these drivers, they're so quick.
Yeah,
I'd encourage every single one of you who's at home, who has the option to keep the stream on, try and match these lap times in time trial with perfect conditions, perfect tyres. You can choose a setup, you can have free reign, because these lap times, they're almost alien-like.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, they're bad laps on a used set of tyres, what I can barely do on a brand new set. That they are absolutely on the limit. Every single corner, every part of the lap, they're on the limit, which is brilliant to see for these drivers to be able to fight so hard. I mean, I was doing a bit of time trial earlier, putting on some of the SRC setups, seeing how they work, and I'm like, I've done a lap, and I'm a second and a half off, like P500 in the world. Why am I so far off? And then it just makes you realise how quick these drivers are.
Yeah, it's like after this qualifying run, I'll tell you guys a great story about Jarno Oppier. And at the time he came to a Red Bull factory with us, I can tell you a good story about how quick he was. But we do have to get these laps underway first before we can endure in a little bit more waffling, because at the end of the day, he doesn't like a good waffle. Probably you guys probably just want straight into a race at this point, because the qualifying is long. Let's be quite frank.
It is. It's longer than the race the qualifying is.
Yeah, it's so well. I mean, yeah, sometimes, especially when there's a reset due to lighting, but
it helps for those that are consistent going through Q1, Q2, and Q3. But Leo Lund has spent a lot of time on his lap. He's currently up by half a second in the middle sector, so looking to try and get himself a little bit more comfortably up into that top 5 if he can do so. Just heading out to the final corner, riding the final curb up towards the line. What will it be here for Leo Lund? Will it be the top position? Ooh. It will. A 26.025 to kick us off here for the Q2 runs. And Tom Manley instantly up to the top with a 25.900. John Evans, 3,000ths behind. Reece Linton, a half a tenth behind in P3. These lap times are stupidly close as we see the cars heading their way through the final couple of corners here. On board with Ruben Petronio, looking to try and get up into the top 5 at the moment as Barry Burman goes up to the top by a tenth. Ron Haar goes up into second. What can Pedronio do as he heads to the line? He goes into P7. That won't be a safe time at all. What about Lucas Blakely? Where can he go as he heads to the line? He goes to the top. And Blakely has been looking superb in Q1. He's doing the same in Q2. Maybe he's a driver to take pole in Q3.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put my finger on it any more for the next guy as Cyril Nakomsky there jumps himself up into P8 there as well. It's pretty close. I believe the professionals, at least Martin Brundle would call this squeaky bum time. I promise I'll vouch on his behalf. He probably would say that. But no, honestly, we say it time and time again. These drivers are so immensely talented. This is where those drivers who have that next level after talent can step it up and continue this progression. Hopefully, Fab's going to be able to rejoin the session. He does have roughly about 2 minutes to rejoin the session. Yeah. So as long as his PC hasn't completely, blanked out and disappeared, he should be able to rejoin as fast as possible. Fingers crossed, especially for Fab's sake as well, because I quite enjoyed watching him do a couple rounds here in these series. He's been another one of those drivers which has been very quietly impressing myself. But we've got a little bit of waffle time. Do you want to hear the story about Jan Ortmir?
Give it to us, Josh.
We have a little bit of a quiet day in the office. He's come over. He's done a couple photos with us. It means we get to see the beautiful images we see over in PSGL's Twitter, WR's Twitter, and we go right. Okay, we've got half an hour to kill. How about a quick 5-lapper race? And we go, okay, yeah, sure. I'm like, let's put it up to 25. Let's see what this guy's really made out of, right? He's only won a couple world titles. How good's he gonna be? So we go, start it off, racing against AI, all on LAN, having a wild time of our lives. Very close battling. Everything's very, very close. It's absolutely fantastic, right? Jarno's not completely just sailed into the distance. He's actually having a battle with us, and it's brilliant. And then my boss, who was also racing at the time, he's got to go take an emergency call, right? So he jumps out and he goes, Jarno, just race Josh, have a bit of fun. This dude rocks up into the pit lane at the exact same time as me, puts on a set of intermediate tyres, lets me overtake, pulls out a second, and then he just switches on and he just goes past. His tyre pressures were on full. He was on inters around Silverstone, a perfectly dry track, and he ends up beating me by like 14, 15 seconds in the space of like 6 laps. Like, it's just unbelievable how quick.
Insane.
Yeah, it's a joke until you sit there and see it. And I was like, mate, how on earth have you done that? And he very just subtly said back to me, and he's like, I get paid to do this. Like, it's just a whole other level of pace. Yes, Nathan.
I've got to say, I don't want to hear about Jarno, though. Do you know why?
He's not here.
Exactly. He decided not to turn up, so I'm angry with Jarno now.
Oh, well, skill issue. I'm sure he's going to be really upset while he's opening his packs on FIFA.
He's got some good replacements, hasn't he, though? Tom and Declan.
Yeah, I mean, future's very bright, let's be quite honest. The amount of young drivers we see, not only just Tom Declan, let's not forget Ron Haas on the younger side, Reese is here, Otis, another great one, Duncan.
That many names.
Honestly, at this point, we can probably just sit and open a dictionary and rattle through all these names, because to be quite honest with you, there's too many to count, there's too many to name, otherwise we'll be here until the end of time. One thing is for certain, though, we won't be seeing any more of Lucas Blakely here in Q2. He feels like he's safe, and I do have to agree with him, because it is a phenomenal lap time to put on board as early as your first real run here in Q2.
I mean, some people aren't going to beat that on their final runs here in Q3, never mind in your first run in Q2. But at the moment in the drop zone, we do have the 2 Aston Martins, the 2 Williams cars, and Lenny Pepinto. Now, that is a big name in the bottom 5 at the moment. Lenny Pepinto would like to be into Q3, being as Race Coach are fighting for that championship. And Ferrari and Red Bull are both looking very strong. So Lenny has got to put a lot into this lap now to try and keep himself with his teammate and with the 2 Ferraris and Tom Manley and Declan above of him. A bit of lag then. Lenny, for me, shot into the wall, but I'm glad it was lag.
It's just a little bit of lag, but his race coach counterpart, Reese Linton, will be starting his final lap here in Q2. Currently sitting in P7, 1.5 tenths off the pace of Lucas Blakely. But then again, a lot of people are off the pace of Lucas Blakely as he has a huge lockup down into turn 1. That's just the way the game works. Don't you worry, guys. He is just getting that car rotated in as quickly and as efficiently as possible for opening up his DRS, heading down the first DRS straight. We'll call it the first DRS straight for the time being. For chucking it in here to the right-hander, coming through the sweeping S's section, which again looks relatively flat until you see the off-board camera. You can see how much of a downhill slalom it really is before locking the inside here once again for the right-hander, for coming up to the most awkward corners on the Formula 1 calendar. I won't hear any ifs, ands, or buts about that one. The double left-hander, making sure to get, once again, the front left rotated in, locking that tyre, running all the way over the curbs to make sure he doesn't end up grabbing any sort of debris, any sort of delay delay of the car bottoming out over the curves before chucking it back in after the second DRS straight, sweeping it up here through the left-hander, keeping it nice and wide to minimise the scrubbing of the tyres before chucking it all the way through in towards this final sector. He's a 10th upon his lap time. Stellar stuff so far. Good enough to put him into potential P3 if he's able to maintain this pace until the end of the lap. And considering it's only one straight and 2 corners with 1 braking zone, it's looking very likely as Reese here flicks the car in, runs over the curves to make sure he keeps all 4 tyres within the white line, up towards the line with the DRS wide open now. Reese not able to find an improvement, lost a little bit of time there in that final sector. May not have been coming as easy as he likes, but we've next got Declan Barrett chucking it through the final couple corners. You see him once again taking the wide line over the curbs. It's the most efficient way to do it, as he'll be rising up towards the line here. Just an improvement there to P8 as we see John Evans there up into P3. His teammate behind him, Barry, up into provisional pole. We've got one of the R8Gs next, and that's Tamas Gal, a more representative lap time of what he's capable of. We do believe we've got one of the Williams in the background, diving it back in towards the pits. We've still got Thomas Ronhar. Tom Manley gets that lap times. Leo Lund setting a P11 there, not able to improve anymore. We've got Fabrizio Donoso not able to improve. Duncan Hoffland as well, looking to try and get himself a better lap time on board. We do have Tom diving it back in the pits as well. Doesn't feel the need to finish his lap as Duncan jumps up into P6. That's going to be a blow for Lenny Papinza. Very unfortunate. But with that being said, one team's misfortune, Lenny going out there in Q2, gives McLaren Shadow both of their drivers through into Q3. It does very much feel like McLaren might be playing a little something on the card here to try and cause a little bit of disturbance. But
it's working.
It's certainly working because it's disturbing me. I'm starting to get a little bit worried about what McLaren might be able to cook here.
Race Clutch having a driver out in Q2.
But it's qualifying.
Not what they want, but we'll have a quick look at the... Well, it is qualifying,
it's qualifying. He'll come back in the race. He'll come back in the race. We've seen crazier things happen. Just think about last week.
Of course, but of course, going out with Lenny will be Leo Lund, Fabrizio Donoso, Ruben Petronio, and Ishmael Fascine. That is a surprise. Those 3, the biggest surprises going out in Q2, Donoso, Petronio, and Fassi. So they won't go into Q3. They'll be starting from those positions near the back of the field. But of course, you do have 10 drivers going through into Q3, looking to fight for that pole position. The 2 Red Bulls make their way through. The 2 Ferraris make their way through, and only one of the Race Clutch cars. So this will be interesting here of what can happen in this session. But we've also got, of course, in the mix, Duncan Hoffman for Aston Martin, and then the 2 R8Gs and the 2 McLarens making their way into the top 10. Now, maybe R8G could get involved because they did a very good Q2 session. P3 for Tamas Gal, P5 for Thomas Ronhar.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to think as well, normally we'll quite often see track mates when maybe 1 or 2 teams don't have both their drivers in the top 5 and the top 6. They'll quite often work together with, other teams to trade a little bit of DRS when they don't have their teammates as well. Given now the only drivers out of this top 10 who won't have their teammates starting in a relatively close vicinity would be Reese and Duncan. Perhaps that's going to, not necessarily play to their advantage here. Of course, not going to say a couple of the other teams might shun them out of potentially working with them. But, if you put yourself in the boots of, let's say, a Barry Burman, your teammate's relatively close to you. Why would you want to offer to help pull a championship rival of Reese along with you? It doesn't make much sense. So I'm not feeling too confident for Reese's and Duncan's chances. But then again, I've been proven wrong here time and time again.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting. I mean, there's so many cars that'll be, within a second of each other. We'll probably have the top 10 within a second at some points on the track because that's how close it gets on this F1 24 game. But of course, before we see who's in what order for the race, we've got to see what they can do in this qualifying session. Of course, 10 minutes to go here in Q3, so we'll have 2 runs in this session. We'll see them head out in around 30 seconds time, then they'll go out again with around 3 minutes to go and set their final runs. And Josh, I'm going to ask you the question already.
Oh, here we go.
Who's taking pole?
Tom Manley. I'm going to be biased. Yeah, I'll say it. One of the Red Bulls is going to get it, and I'm going to put it on Tom.
Well, I'm going to go with... Oh, who do I go with here? It's a close one because there's that many people that
say Leo Lund. Oh, God. Say Leo Lund.
No, he's binned it in Q2.
Oh,
so
dear.
No pole for Leo Lund. Maybe a top 3 in the race, though. But for pole, you know what? I'm going to go with Thomas Ronhar. Bit of an easy guess, but I'm going to go with him.
Okay. Easy guess, but a reliable one.
Exactly.
He's always quick, no matter where you put him. It could be very interesting. But let us know at home what you guys think in the chat. Who's most likely to grab pole position here before even the first runs have gone? So I'm sure we'll revisit this question after the first runs have gone. So everyone can change your answer slightly. Nathan, I'm going to be looking at you there, mate. I know you quite like to get it. Ben Marples says Nathan. Congratulations, mate. Your pole position, sir. How's it feel?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, I'm always getting pole in WRT1 and I'm always getting the win as well. So, well,
I'll take easy work for you then, isn't it?
I mean, I'm that good. I got told that I had to commentate because they didn't want someone to ruin the competition.
Oh.
So, I mean,
that's so sweet. Honestly, Connor's such a sweetheart. He just wants to keep competition fair between everyone. Again, another reason why we're in the F1 Wildcards. But after giving him a post and giving a little brief update, from Connor over in the PSGL announcements. If you're not part of Discord, do come join. We don't bite.
Season
mostly.
38.
Season 38 is looking juicy. I saw the calendar. Not saying I'm necessarily the biggest fan of some of the tracks, but I can guarantee you the tracks I'm not fans of will most likely be bangers, like San Monaco. Time and time again, we sit here in E-Series. It's on the main season calendar now.
Josh,
it's terrifying.
Some good news, though. Some good news for them is PCF2 below can use the normal cars unless they decide collectively not to. So, F2, F3, F4, guys, you might see the real cars back, but of course, PCF1 and E-Series will still use the world cars. So, you might have a bit of normality back into your Thursday evenings if you're tuning in. 'Cause, I mean, I'll be tuning in for definite.
Yeah, inject it into my veins. The good old traditional F1 cars, you can't beat them. As much as I do love a little bit of creativity with the F1 world cars, there's only so many cars you can see on a mini-map which all have
Duncan's
a red
Aston
or
looks
a
very
black
similar,
dot.
though.
What do you mean?
His Aston looks very similar to the real livery.
I don't like the fact you just pointed that out because it looks a little bit too much like the real livery. It looks like the Mercedes from Singapore, to be quite honest with
But
you.
then we've also got Lucas Blakely, who's running the actual livery.
Oh yeah, but that's because he's built different. He's also running Lando Norris's number. You might want that back, mate.
Yes, number 4. Stole the car, and he's brought it here into E-Series.
I'm sure Equal Performance is going to have a word with that one.
We do have a few cars starting their first Q3 runs. The first one being Reese Linton, who will be looking for pole position. We know he's quick in quali, but for this time around in Q3, he's not got a teammate to join him in that fight for pole. So it's all down to Linton here to try and get that race clutch onto the top spot, and then he can try and dictate the race from himself at the front. But of course, many of the other drivers will be looking to try and take that pole as well. Sitting behind him, we got it'll be Barry Burman right behind him, and then we have Lucas Blakely as well, just heading through into turn 9 and 10. So these three here looking to set the first times in the session, and I think they'll set 3 of the best times in the session.
With that being said, you got to think the later you leave it, the better track evolution is going to be. It's just going to be another layer of rubber being put down with each car going over the top of that racing line. And we've seen it time and time again. It's very much up in the air which one is necessarily the quickest. I mean, take last year's game, for example. Fantastic driver, King Gordon Dorp. I believe he's still part of Williams, isn't he? I've not seen him for a bit. No, he's left.
He announced on Twitter he's leaving.
Oh.
Yeah. About a week ago, Josh.
I'm sorry, I don't keep hands on everyone's Twitter. I'm sorry, guys. But, again, another one of those drivers who would always go out religiously at the start of a session because he just liked having that open track in front of him. He was able to get better lap times. Again, it's very much down to driver preference, and seeing the way these drivers have split it. Duncan's unfortunately invalidated his lap time. We know Tamash can put in a banking qualifying lap from anywhere. Up to P5 at a minute, 8 tenths off a pace, presumably a set of scrubbed tyres there for Tamash, as we've got Thomas. He's put over 1.2 seconds on his teammate, so you can tell something's amiss there. As we've got now both the Red Bull cars coming towards the line. Declan up into P5. Where's Tom going to be able to put it? Up into P3. It's interesting.
Nice there from Red Bull. Because remember, Josh, they're still in the fight for the championship, so they'll be looking to try and maximise what they can. But I think so far this evening, Thomas looks to have that bit of an edge over Declan, hasn't he?
Yes. Yeah, and I feel like part of it just comes down to that experience. Understanding it, because yes, both the drivers are young. One of them's got a little bit more experience out there, got a little bit more familiarity with the team, and that is a huge thing as well. That a lot of these teams get to test the waters of development drivers and see how they work within a team under a slightly more pressured racing scenario rather than just a solo adventure. they do get to see how they work in a team, how they bounce off each other, and what often results in the best sort of outcomes for the team as a whole. I do just want to draw your attention really quickly over towards the YouTube chat. We've got Inter Milan, not a football team, just a person called Inter Milan. Who's faster, Lucas Blakely or Freddie Rasmussen?
It's a close one, isn't it?
No.
Oh. Who then?
Freddie. He won the driver's title last year, mate.
But Lucas won it the year before.
Yeah, but Freddie won it more recently.
So they're both fast.
Yeah, but Freddie's faster. I'm going to let my bias come out here. Unless Lucas gets pole.
Here we are.
And then
The ego's coming out, Josh. The toxic egos here.
Listen, toxic egos here. If Lucas gets pole, though, I'm going to look like I've absolutely just been chucked in the mud. And to be quite honest with you, with the pace he's shown, he could very much be on for pole position. I'm starting to see what you mean here, but I'm still going to stick strong here with my Tom shout. Currently in P3. Having a cheeky teleport my screen back into the pit lane now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stick with Thomas Ron Harvo. You're still going to stick with Tom Manley. Guys in the chat, let us know who you think will take pole. And at the moment, Frenchie thinks Leoland is quicker.
Honestly, don't blame Leoland. Put him in a qualified seat. Absolutely rocket, mate. Freddie is faster by a second sector.
John Evans fastest, says Dylan Warren.
Mate,
he's currently P7.
Dylan, if it was a wet Monaco race on intermediate
would be
tyres,
Dylan. It would be
you
Dylan,
would be the fastest.
It would be Dylan.
Absolute freak, mate. It's ridiculous. If
I mean,
anyone,
listen,
get a montage of that set up, please.
Not going to say much, but if a season happens again here for E-Series on this game, Dylan, we need you back here. We need you. It's been lonely without you here in season 4. You know,
Maybe
you've done I think one race, maybe 2. I can't remember. It's been a bit of a shame not to see you here as commonly as before. I mean, back in season 3, I think you did every race bar 2.
Yeah, but that's because he didn't go outside the house. He's evolved now. He's got a bit more of a life. He goes out, enjoys himself. I mean, he's evolved. He's definitely not devolved.
Just got my rig at uni. Need to set it up. Oh yes, you're at uni. Well,
yeah.
I hope it all goes well, Dylan. I hope everything goes good.
It's a great excuse.
It's a brilliant one, isn't it?
It's a brilliant one. Sorry, I can't do E-Series. I've actually got a decision to hand in. Unlucky. But
I haven't got my rig set up. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I forgot my Fantech wheel at home. Everything else is there, though.
But here we are, Josh. This is the final moments of qualifying in Season 4. Blakely's out first, looking to try and set pole for McLaren for their first time this season. I think their first top 5 this season. Barry wants it for Ferrari. Ron Hart would love to get RHG back on the front foot heading into that Bahrain Grand Prix for the final round. And Reece Dinton wants it as well, so he can give Race Clutch a bit more of an opportunity due to Pepinta starting down in P11. So we've got a brilliant qualifying session yet to unfold. And the sad part is it's the final one we're going to have with Season 4. This is it, Josh, for qualifying. In about 2 minutes' time.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Otherwise, you're going to get me emotional as we see Lucas doing his brake drag weaving, locking up his tyres to make sure he's trying to get a little bit of heat in them as best as possible before he flings it through the final corner. For the start of the final laps here for Season 4 E-Series, Nathan, would you care to do the honours?
Well, we start it off with Lucas Blakely heading down to turn 1. And yet again, I've seen another car heading all the way to the inside, heading down to turn 1. So I'm not sure if that helps the tyres or something, but they all love to rise up to the inside of that wall as he heads his way down to turn 4. Now, with that DRS, of course, being enabled, and at the moment, Lucas is around a tenth and, well, about 1.2 tenths off that pole time, so definitely not out of his reach at all at the moment as he heads his way down the hill through turns 5, 6 and 7 and then into that hairpin at turn number 8, of course wanting to get that perfect as you head the car in, get it rotated nicely and then got the power instantly as you ride the curb on the exit now, heading down to turn 9 and turn number 10 here, of course a very infamous part of the Bahrain circuit, but Lucas handles that perfectly now as he rides the curb on the exit down towards turn number 11 here, looking to try and improve on that second sector time as he throws the car in. Up the hill he goes, of course, yet again running wide on the exit to bring the car round and carry all that rotation through. as he ends the second sector now. What would it be here for Lucas? He's up by a 10.5. That is enough here to put himself onto pole, but many other drivers are looking to improve, and Lucas still has a couple more corners to go here in this Q3 session now. Heading down towards turns 14 and 15. The final couple of corners, he'll be looking to take pole here for McLaren. Their first pole position this season. Up to the line for Lucas Blakely. What will it be to set for the first time? It'll be a 25.527. What about his teammate? Can he try and take that pole away? No, but he will go to P6. What about Linton as he heads to the line? Where does he go? Up into P4. Definitely would have liked to be a little bit higher though. John Evans, he goes to P6. That's disappointing there for Ferrari. The next car, Barry Burman, he's up by a 10th of a second. That'll be close to the time of Lucas Blakely. We'll see. Would it be Barry able to jump Lucas Blakely and put himself onto that provisional pole position? Heading through the final corner now is Barry Burman. Will this be enough to put himself onto pole for Ferrari for the finale? Up to the line, he does. Barry Burman is on provisional pole position, but still, there's 3 cars to go. Barrett goes up into B6. What can Tamas Gal do? Can he take it away here for RHG? Heading up to the line now in his beautiful green car. To the line he goes, only P8. We have Ron Haar now, another man up by a 10th of a second in the middle sector. Can he take pole? No, he can't. He stays in P3. As we have Duncan Hoffland, he goes into P7 now. What about Tom Manley for Red Bull? Can he take pole position? No, but it will be second row of the grid here for Tom Manley.
Oh my word. Talk about laying down your cards. What a statement. What an absolute statement from Barry Burman. Coming, grabbing pole position by 0.025 of a second to Lucas Blakely, and then Ron Haar 5 thousandths behind them. Got to track back a little bit more to see the likes of Tom Manley, Riesling, and Declan Barrett. And this is what we was on about earlier, wasn't it, Nathan? About these drivers who are able to unlock that next level when it gets to those final Q3 runs. But the grid set here, it's looking like it could be an absolute banger. Just sign me up. Just get us straight in the race. Don't need to carry anymore. This could be absolutely fantastic. And as well, in the chat, we had Brendan Lee cheering on his Lucas Pookie. Oh, cheeky.
Not cheering on RHG, Brendan. Oh.
I mean, to be fair, Pookie relationships,
I've got to say,
deeper than team allegiances.
It's been sad not to have Brendan here this season for RHG. It would have been nice to see him make a couple of appearances. Maybe would have got RHG a little bit higher in the standings than P5. But did we have a restart, Josh? Did we retire or do we leave?
Everyone retires. Everyone should know we just retire at this point. Everyone goes back into the lobby. No one's got a fuss with invites. A little bit of a smooth transition, or slightly smoother transition. But then again, I have been to blame with changing the the time of the day, making it sunrise instead of midnight. Easy mistake to do. Not really, on complete opposite sides. But that being said, got a potential of a little bit of a demolition derby we get to watch here, Nathan. So I suppose you could enjoy this side.
Yeah, they have their little bit of a battle for a minute down to turn one. We normally have people take each other out. Of course, all retiring quickly so we can get on with it. But of course, a few of them always like to send it then to turn one, don't they? Bit of contact, but well, there's no contact because we got the collisions turned off. We follow them into turn one. Come on, guys, retire quick so we can get underway.
Well, TS12, stop the clock. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Oh, dear me.
They know what's up. They want... Part of me always just wondered if these drivers, have these practice restarts, see everyone retiring and just think, what if I've just disconnected? I'll keep going just to make sure I'm going to get a lap time at the end. But thankfully, everyone's retired. So it should be coming back to us. And to be fair, Nathan, where do we feel like E-Series would be if it didn't have the backing of our brilliant sponsors? The likes of GT Omega, SRC, they put in so much time, so much effort to help make sure that we've got the prize pool we can offer to these teams like Ferrari, like Aston Martin, like Red Bull to come along, show up and want to participate. And I suppose we're always going to be in their depths because the level of entertainment we get from this is by far and away next to none.
Of course. And well, I mean, we talked about the sponsors, SRC and GT Omega, but while we wait, we'll have a quick word from them over on our adverts. So, welcome back, everybody. Of course, a big thank you to SRC and GT Omega for making this series possible, and of course, helping support PSGL on a whole. But back to the action here. We're going to have a quick look at the standings before we head our way into the session. And of course, a bit of a reminder just to jog your memory: Ferrari are at the top with 6 points to Race Clutch in second and 24 points back to Red Bull in third. Of course, for this race, we've got Race Clutch starting P5 and P11, Ferrari P1 and P8, and Red Bull P4 and P6. So it will certainly be interesting of which one of those takes the championship. Then, of course, Aston Martin and R8G fighting for nothing in their P4 and P5. But, of course, Tottenham Racing Team are fighting for that P6 position that they won £100 to fight for the best community team, of course, along with Veloci Academy and Thomas Shing Sim Racing. Then, of course, McLaren Shadow and Williams sit P7 and P10 in the standings. But Josh, the mad thing is, you look at CRT, they haven't had the best results this season. They're down in P6, but they're only 100 points off P1. And considering how many points you can score a weekend, that isn't a lot.
No, it's certainly not. Of course, custom point system here to try and make everything a little bit more fair and end of the day, a little bit more different, because not everyone wants to get 26 points for a fastest lap and, you know, a race win. It gets a little bit tedious. It's not exactly the fairest way to do things as well. So our brilliant, well, I was about to say crack-minded, but let's be quite honest, they don't really have much going on up there sometimes. Group of directors behind the board, in other words, Big C, decide all these brilliant things to try and just make it a little bit more, just give something a little bit better. But at the end of the day, let's not forget these drivers. They also make part of this series just that little bit more special.
They do. I mean, it's brilliant, isn't it? You know, these drivers, some of them come here every week. I mean, Declan has been here every single week. And I'm just looking in the chat there, a message from Brendan Lee. Is Gramps watching? I think he is. You know, I did tell him how to find the YouTube stream. He didn't phone me up and say how to do it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, Brendan, he did find his way to the YouTube channel. All I said to him was, go into YouTube, click subscriptions, click PSGL, then look for the big box of a yellow name of Bahrain, and you'll get onto it. And he's not messaged me yet. He's not asked, so hopefully he's got on. But
Mate, did he ding the little bell?
Ding the bell. Oh,
yeah. When you subscribe, you ding the bell for notifications.
Because I had to make him a YouTube account.
Mate, he's probably watching EastEnders or Coronation Street or something, and he's just saw that notification come up and just gone, like, oh, bloody hell, Nathan, I'm not putting up with you.
I mean, I'll phone him later on and I'll just say, did you watch it? He'll probably go, oh, the yes, or oh no, I fell asleep. Something like that. But yes, hopefully he's watching along, and if not, I'll make sure he watches it tomorrow, so he goes back and watches. Because I mean, tonight's going to be brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah,
six drivers, 3 teams fighting for the championship, and then of course the community team drivers fighting for it. But Josh, I'm going to ask you the question now: who's taking the championship?
Mate, I'm not sure, but everyone has seemingly decided to ready up here before the lobby's actually ready. So, yeah, exactly. I get everyone's eager, but at the same time...
So we've gone in without the lobby being set up?
Yeah, exactly, because they've decided to go. Instead of remembering that I am also commentating at the same time. So, we'll see. I believe the qualifying positions are right. I'm sure someone will let me know if they're not, to be quite honest with you. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. They wanted to start early.
Yeah, they just readied up.
Yeah, exactly. It's unfortunate. I believe I've got everyone in the right spot. I've got to assume everyone is roughly in the right spot. Yeah, no, I believe all of them should be. But it was very close net. Yeah, I very much do hope so. Because otherwise it is just a very silly thing for all of them to do. And yeah, no doubt they'll be complaining in chat about everyone readied up.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go. It's already been done. Oh, dearie me. Why did everyone ready up? Oh, dear.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why everyone did up, but it means we won't have any action because...
Oh, dear.
I mean, could I put unready? Did they all read that as ready?
I doubt it.
Oh my god.
Dearie me.
Well, a delayed start to the end of E-Series, but I mean, the good thing, Josh, is it extends the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we do have 5
Hopefully.
lights for the fake Bahrain Grand Prix. Pepinta's on pole, Alves is second, and Lekomsky was starting third.
Mate, absolute miracles. If only they waited for maybe 15 more seconds, we would have been able to get that grid sorted. But
They're too eager.
I don't blame him, to be quite honest with you. It could be absolutely brilliant. But Valentino Albelli, grab him a race swimmer. Brilliant stuff. There we go. Wrapping up E-Series. That's the end. Season 4. Bye-bye. Should be brilliant.
Oh, right. So we go again. We've had to have one restart already in quali. We've got another one here for the race again to see who will win. I mean, this isn't good for the drivers, though, because they'll be, they're on the edge even more pressure is on them, waiting for that moment to start.
Don't get me wrong, right? I'll take full blame for the qualifying one. That one, guys,
That's
just
not
wait.
Your fault, yeah.
Please.
Message in the chat, Axel, the reason why it was restarted was because the drivers didn't wait for Connor to give the heads up. So they went in with the wrong lobby set up.
Wrong entire grid.
Wrong grid.
The settings were all right, but, yeah. John Evans, not starting P14. Tell you that much.
I do love in the chat people's telling us the obvious of the grid being wrong.
Yeah, I know. It's always if they forgot to read, but that's okay. We'll forgive them. We love them. Again, without them, where would we all be?
I've got to confirm as well. I'll just saw a message from Dylan. He's in the smallest uni room ever. Poor Dylan. I don't know where he's going to get the rig in there.
Describe it for me.
Very small, things everywhere. I don't know how he's going to get the rig set up in there. I mean, that's going to take some work, Dylan. Oh my. I mean, you have literally been shoved into a bathroom which has been turned into a bedroom. Yes. Dylan can do that while watching this. He doesn't have to click off the stream to sort his rig out. But hopefully, exactly. Josh, they don't ready up this time, and Rieslinton already readied up.
Well,
wait, guys, it's not that hard.
No, it's really not. Go grab yourselves a bottle of water, something. Touch grass, enjoy yourselves for just a little bit. Because at the end of the day, it does take a little bit of time. Spamming F2 through the keyboard. I'm not gonna lie, my fingers are already starting to hurt. But no, I mean, let's take a little trip back down to memory lane here. How do we all feel about this season so far? Because to me, it might very well have been probably the best series of E-Series ever, to be quite honest with you.
It's been the best by far. I mean, Season 1 was brilliant when we saw Williams take the championship by like 100 points. Season 2 as well, Ferrari did it by about 60. Season 3 it was a bit closer, but Ferrari still took it. This season it's been even better, even more teams looking to fight for those top positions. And it's been a bit of a weird one as well, because we've had, of course, Williams starting, a bit poorly this season. Didn't get off the mark at all. McLaren as well, P7, not the best what they could have hoped for. I reckon they could have definitely got a little bit higher. But Josh, have you managed to get the grid sorted yet?
Yes. Mate, it's getting there.
Right,
it's getting there. Already at P12.
So hopefully the guys don't ready up. I mean, none of them have yet, apart from 2. So we will be able to get our way in
20-second penalties. Not having it. Not having that pressure put on me. Again, unfortunately, Ben Marple's
Josh,
not here
get on
tonight.
with the grid.
Yes.
Get on with the grid.
I can talk at the same time. Ben Marple's unfortunately not here. Again, his work not going unnoticed. He always does this. He always puts up with the stress. Fortunately for him, he doesn't really have to commentate at the same time. But no, again, you could just see that sometimes, even when it is a very small thing here at PSGL, which does go missing, everything seems to go with it, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It is unfortunate. It is one of those things where, sometimes it could be a bit smoother, but hopefully everything's getting sorted. As I have seen, Dylan has also messaged me. I presume that's going to be a room, but the lobby is now all ready, so hopefully everyone's able to ready up.
Yes. So you're going to put a message in the chat to let them know that they can ready up this time?
I am going, yes. There you go. Fingers crossed, everything should be sorted. All it took was 15 more seconds.
Oh, to be fair, Dylan, the room isn't as small as it looked originally. But I do find it quite odd that you've got a bathroom in the bedroom. It's cool, though, I suppose. Well, a sink, at least. But there you go. Right, so, guys, they're readying up. We've got 30 seconds to go till we get into the finale of E-Series Season 4. We've waited so long for this moment to see who's going to take the championship. Ferrari, Race Clutch, Red Bull are the 3 looking to take that £475 home, and of course, the E Series season for title. Veloci Academy, Tatum Racing Team, and TES are also looking to try and take home £100 for being the best community team this season, and their championship is also, I think, within 25 points. So that will also be a key thing to watch. But finally, Josh, we're going to get our way in. We'll move ourselves to the trackside cameras and
Hold on. We've just been called lame commentators.
leave.
That, mate.
Go. We don't want you
Yeah,
here.
go. Bro, we asked Jono not to show up today purely because we knew you was going to be in the chat.
Exactly, yeah.
Honestly, show us a bit more respect. We might
No,
be able to
Yano,
get
no
Yano.
party. Shush.
Oh, it's like a Jamie Vardy party, mind you.
He's
You
a
weren't.
one thing, and it begins with an S and ends with house. And Connor will agree with that because Connor loves him. But unfortunately, the
brilliant.
team's crap. So,
Well,
right, Josh.
not very professional
Come on, Josh,
for
take it
breaching
away.
the
We got not long to go. I've got the race director on as well, so you can waffle along. We can see what tyres the drivers are on.
Okay, right. Ideally, we might be looking at a one stop. I don't want to break anyone's hearts. One stop.
I think we will look
It's on
at
the
one stop
cards.
anyway.
Maybe. I don't want to jump to any conclusions here. But traditionally, one stop's the best way to go. It could be a very, very interesting. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to be able to see a little bit of variation, a little bit of deviance between what these drivers are choosing to do on certain compounds. We can already take a look there. A couple of drivers up towards the front have gone towards that hard compound tire. A couple slightly further towards the back, going over to the soft, looking to try and get a jump as soon as possible. So, fingers crossed, we should be able to see those drivers on the softs try and make up a little bit more time, try and go for riskier, braver plays than those on the hards who are looking just to keep the front wing intact throughout this first sentence. So, let's have a look. We've got 2, 3, 4, and 5 red lights here for the final round of E-Series. Everyone on the hard compound tyre, and it is underway. Loads of wheel spin there from the drivers. We've got Tom there getting a jump onto Thomas Ronhard, moving himself up into P3. Lucas there not looking to try and make a move as early as this on Barry, looking just to somewhat seize the opportunity here all throughout the grid of these drivers, making it 2 by 2, heading up through turn 3, turn 4, onto what would have been the first DRS straight, but we're going to have to wait a lap for that one, thankfully, otherwise it would just be absolute carnage. But we've got more drivers towards the back going 2 by 2, position changes all across the board. Fingers crossed here, everyone's been able to make it through Sector 1 A-OK. Ishmael Fassi though getting squeezed out slightly, but he still kept his car pointing in the right direction, which is a brilliant thing to see, with Duncan there getting squeezed towards the inside.
Leo
It's getting a little bit squeaky bum time here, mate.
Yeah, Leo made a massive send unnecessarily into turn on and 10, as we do see Lenny having to defend there from Lekomsky and Ishmael Fassi, who drops down to P14 there. Poor exit. Oh, what's happened there? That's Labella and Mackay down at turn number 10. Those who've had an incident, and TRT and VA are ruining their chances of taking that community team spot. The Danian P19 and P20, they will need a safety car if they want to get back into the race. I believe they both have damage on their cars. But looking at the front, we've got 5 teams in the top 5. Ferrari lead the way. McLaren with Lucas Blakely in second, and Tom Manley for Red Bull is sitting in third place as we head our way through the final corner down towards turn 1 now. 2 drivers here who will be looking to push hard will be Race Clutch, as Rieslington and Lenny Papinta. They'll be looking to push hard. I still don't know why, Josh. They go all the way to the inside into turn 1. I don't understand that.
I could tell you an aerodynamic reason for why it would happen, or I could probably just tell you that there's going to be more grip on the painted surface over on the right-hand side, given how this track first worked when the game came out. The grass had more grip than the circuit. Aerodynamics-wise, you would get a bit of a slight wall draft from the side to go a little bit quicker down the straight, but I doubt that's being calculated into the handling model, so I genuinely just think the paint might be a little bit quicker.
Wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. But just watching here, Fabrizio Donoso here on the back of Leo Lund, looking to make a move for P12, but can't quite close in as they head to the hairpin of turn 8. And there, Anton just saying there's just no bump on the right side. That makes a little bit of sense. I know Japan and Silverstone have had their issues with bumps, so yes, Bahrain added to the list of that. Brilliant. As we just follow the drivers heading down to turn 11 here. Linton is looking to defend here from Ronhard as well, who's having a decent start in the race. P5, starting P5. He did drop back a position though to lap 1, but he got it back ahead of Declan Barrett. But also, John Evans not having the start he would have wanted, has he, Josh? He's then in P9 and not really made... Well, he's lost a position since lap 1.
Yeah, Tamash gaining a position. Again, a very similar thing happened here with Lenny and Lukomsky. Clearly one side of the grid getting a better getaway than the other side. But with that being said, you got to think of a bigger and a wider picture here. Ferrari, as Connor put correctly in chat earlier, there needs to be a little bit of a stinker. But at the moment, Barry's leading away. It's certainly not looking that bad.
It's certainly not, as we do see Blakely take the lead away from Barry Burham and into turn 1. Up to P1 goes Blakely, but he goes deep heading through the first corner, and that could allow Barry to try and fight back up to turn 4. But no, he's happy with sitting just behind in second place for now. Further back as well, we can see Tamashgal here burning the battery, looking to make him move ahead of Hoffland to the inside into turn 4. He goes. Tamashgal looking to get a move for P7. He goes to the inside and gets a move complete there on Duggan Hoffland. A great move there by Tamashgal, and now looks to charge after the Red Bull of Declan Barrett R8G, having a nice round here, one of their best so far here this season, as we head our way down to turn number 8 and back of the power up the hill into turn 9 and 10. Looking further back as well, Pepinta will be looking to close in here on the back of John Evans. I mean, for Race Clutch to win the championship, they would ideally want both of them ahead of both the Ferraris to try and get that championship away. And at the moment, further up as well, Linton's only 2 positions behind Burman. So, both of them aren't in the best positions in the world, but they certainly aren't in the worst.
Absolutely. They're just going to keep their head down, keep cracking, and try and ensure maximum points here. So, fingers crossed, these guys are going to be able to just keep it calm, keep it steady, and keep managing themselves throughout the course of this race. Because with everyone being on, that hard compound tyre, it does throw up a little bit of curveballs about the undercuts, the overcuts, what other teams are going to be looking to try and do. I can have confirmation for Sebas Duarte as well in the chat. There are track limits and they are on strict. It's the fact they keep 2 wheels in the white lines when they move over towards the right-hand side of the pit wall. It's unconventional, but if it works for them, it works, as we've got a little bit of contact there, slightly further back. Got Riesling and Thomas Ronhard now coming out side by side, battling along for P4. Unfortunately, oh dear.
I think there was some lag there for one of them.
Yeah,
because
certainly.
Manley jumped around.
At least one of them, because now Declan's moved himself back into P6, and all of a sudden Ronhard seems to be battling still for P5. Fingers crossed that won't have any major implications slightly further on, as once again we have been asked where Jarno is.
Yeah, he's not racing for the 75th time.
Where is he?
He's in New Zealand, isn't he?
Yeah, what's he doing in New Zealand, Nathan?
I forgot.
50 Shades of Sim Racing.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, that's why.
It's his new book. It's going to be absolute fire.
All right, so looking further back, I'm looking here at TES. They haven't had the worst start, considering they started 19th and 20th. They're now 16th and 17th. They're looking to finish ahead of TRT, but it won't be enough to finish ahead of VA. But I'm having a feeling that maybe Leo Lund might be going to the steward's room for his move down to turn 8 earlier on, because he did get, I think he gave someone a little bit of damage and made it 3 wide into a corner that was not really made for going 3 wide in.
But the important thing we've got to remember about Leo is he is very young. I want to say a couple of seasons ago, he was a little bit crash happy. He didn't mind getting in. A little bump, rubbing his racing sort of NASCAR attitude. But since then, he has cleaned it off and he has calmed himself down a little bit. And that is absolutely evident here at this moment in time. Understanding that he could be in jeopardy of receiving a penalty. But at the same time, he's still more than happy to keep his head, keep the race, and not let it get to him. He's understanding the scenario he's in and trying to maximize the benefits of what he can see out of this race, which could still very much be a good handful of points, even if you think he's finishing P13. Anywhere from realistically P7 to P13, it's a really strong handful of points for VA. He's just got to keep his head down.
Certainly. So just saw there for a moment a brilliant move from Ronhard around the outside into turn 1 ahead of Reese Linton. And Reese didn't really fight that. I think he just wants to kind of have a bit of damage limitation here at this point in the Grand Prix. Looking further down, Donoso hasn't really got his foot off the ground at all either. He's down in P14, his teammates in P8. So still looking for some decent points, but certainly not what Aston Martin would have hoped for as we head our way through turn 11. And then just on board here with Pinter. We'll be looking to probably make a move ahead of John Evans once that opportunity arises, because it would be great to see for Race Clutch to have their drivers ahead of the Ferraris, and of course then put a little bit more pressure onto John Evans to push harder to help Ferrari win that championship. Of course, for Ferrari, they are on 318 points and Race Clutch on 312, so 6 points separates those two. But looking further ahead here now, we've got Manley closing in on the back of Lucas Blakely. Could we see a move here for P2, or even a move move for the lead as we head into turn 1. Further back as well, we do see Declan Barrett there looking for a move around the outside of Linton. Linton taps the back of Ronhart, allows Declan Barrett to go up the inside. A brilliant move there from the Red Bull of Declan Barrett, and now allows Tamas Gale to close in. This race is going downhill here for Race Clutch as Reese has lost a couple of positions over the last couple of laps and now falls into the tracks of Tamas Gale, who's looking to push forward here for R8G.
Absolutely. You've got to think as well, Reese, at this moment, he must be starting to fear the worst with his car, with somewhat of the tyres, as Duncan there goes for a cheeky move around the outside, not able to quite make that one work. But Reese has just got to get himself back into that headspace of looking to move himself forward. He can't keep looking in his rear view mirror. He can't keep looking at proximity indicators to the left or to the right of him. He's just got to focus. He's got to calm himself down, understand, okay, it's still very early on in this race. We're on lap 6 out of 29 laps of racing. There's still a long way to go. I would save a little bit of battery, then look to keep making a move forward, keep a march going, because at the end of the day, he does have drivers like Tamas Gale, Duncan Hoffland, where if he is paying a little bit too much attention in his rearview mirror, they're more than happy to, snatch an opportunity wherever one's given.
Yep, they certainly are. As just on board here with the top four, just watching Thomas Reinhardt now head down into turn 14, and yeah, I think there is a little bit of lag there for Tom Manley, and I think there's also a bit of lag in general for the server, so that is certainly not ideal, and hopefully the lag issues can get sorted now as Tom Manley looking to make a move. Oh, Tom's got a bit of lag indeed, heading down to turn 1. He's now all the way to the left-hand side of the track, looking to make a move for the lead. Oh my goodness, where is... Oh, he's now P2. Hopefully this doesn't cause many issues. Oh, he spun round.
Yeah, no, that's caused issues.
Yeah.
Tom having a little bit of a knock.
A big shame. I feel bad for him there. Big shame.
Yeah. No. Unfortunate. But then again, we do know he is a very quick driver who is capable of making his way back up through the field.
Oh, he's going to fight with Lukomski here. That could be a bit of a touchy one there, as Tom Manley defends that P10 position. Gal ahead of Hoffman for P6. Behind we got Leo Lund there ahead of Fabrizio Donoso. Now Ishmael Fassi getting involved as they head their way down to turn on. And a brilliant move there from Ishmael Fassi to put himself up into P13. Further ahead, we've got Tamas Gale still fighting here with the Aston Martin of Duncan Hoffland now. Heading into turn 11. To the inside goes the Aston Martin. Looking to get back up into P6. So they go side by side. Can he get ahead of Tamas Gale? Yes, he can. A brilliant move there by Duncan, and now that brings in John Evans into the battle. He's looking to make a move ahead. Tamas Gale for P7, and behind as well, Andy Pinto will be looking to try and get some easy pickings off this battle to try and move himself closer to his teammate, and of course closer to John Evans in the Ferrari.
Absolutely. It's going to be one of those things where you just got to keep your head down, keep marching, keep moving forward throughout the course of this race. As mentioned before, it is a long one. It will feel like a bit of a long one as well, as again we are seeing Tom have a slight twitch of his car. Hopefully that's something which you're going to be able to get reinstated, reconnected, rechecked.
Linton!
But we are having more and more close battles. A lot of contact there, heading through turn 2. Was that an absolutely outrageous send I just saw that?
By Tamas Gale, yeah. Tried to get a move ahead of I think it was Hoffland. Linton then got caught up on the outside. He got catched by the cars. Pepinta's up into 5th. Only Pepinta is up into P5, and maybe, as John Evans has dropped down to P11, Tamas Gale could have won it here for Race Clutch if it carries on like this. Oh my. That was... an interesting one. Of course, Tamas Gale went around the outside, but turn 1 at Bahrain, it's a horrible corner, isn't it? It's a horrible corner.
Absolutely horrible corner. But despite all the flack this circuit might get, I'll tell you a great fact. It is the only circuit in history to get awarded an official health and safety track certificate from the FIA.
Was it 2005 with the heats?
It was.
Ah, okay. See, I've got some knowledge, guys. There was only one in 2005 but that doesn't matter. I mean, half the grid here probably wasn't even born. There was like -2 or something.
Oh, don't say that. I know it's a thrilling stat, Connor. It absolutely makes my boots tremble. And there's only one other circuit which was supposed to be awarded the prize.
Josh, do you know what?
Yes.
Do you know what? That's a good thing though, because Connor can use that when he goes to the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Oh, brilliant!
He can put it in his press comments.
And if a miniature version of the Paul Ricard circuit,
Ron Hart. That was
Bugatti
close.
layout comes back out, you can say they were supposed to get given the award, but Bahrain took it off them. But we've got more battles happening further behind. Tamas Gale running a little bit deep, squeezing Tom Manley out there at turn 1. Tom's just going to have to keep his head down and focus on what he's able to do out of this race right now, isn't he?
Looks like his connection started to get a little bit better again. Maybe it went bad, didn't it? Really bad at one point, but it looks like it's starting to be a little bit more comfortable. So maybe his mum turned off the Wi-Fi for a second by accidentally knocked the plug off. Then he's back and he's racing with us.
Could be worse. I believe I knew a commentator once upon a time who I was commentating with, who decided to unplug his Ethernet cable. I wonder who that was.
I don't know.
No comments. No
Definitely
comments.
not me.
No, absolutely not. But we do have a couple of these drivers who will be looking to try and make more of a comment and certainly a full statement onto what they're planning to do on their own individual PCF1 runs, PCF2 runs, or maybe even Season 5 of these series, making sure they're able to get it off at the right note. Even if they're not able to maximise results here, surely one we're going to have to keep an eye out for here is Lucas. He seemed so strong throughout qualifying, and he's keeping right up there at the moment with Barry and Thomas, showing that, yeah, he might be, going out there, rocking the GB4 and setting the world alight in real racing, but he's still not lost his touch here.
No, he certainly has not, as we head our way down to turn 1 once again here. And we can see Ron Hart on the rear of Blakely, but Blakely's here looking to close in and making a move ahead of Barry Burman as we head our way down to turn 1. And the key thing about this race is winning is so important. In most races, you finish second, it doesn't matter. But there's an 8-point gap between P1 and P2 of what you can score, 35 to 28. So Barry would love to get a win rather than P2. That would really help Ferrari in their championship. But looking further back as well, Declan Barrett's had a decent start. Of course, qualifying didn't look too strong for him. But in the race, he's looking a little bit more comfortable now just to sit on the back of Thomas Ronhaar and try and close in and make this race a little bit more of his own. And as well, the two race coaches as well, sitting P5 and P6 as we head our way down to turn 9 and 10 once again. And at the moment, Josh, do you have an idea who's winning the championship here? Because I can't count.
Ferrari. I still believe it would be Ferrari purely because they've got a little bit more of points helping. I do believe that if Barry wins this race, they should theoretically be leading this championship. But that being said, I'm sure our man on the desk behind the scenes, the big CEO, Big C, is going to be doing some mental maths acrobatics, let's say, try and figure out what each team needs where. But from my quick mental maths, I do believe Ferrari would be taking home the title at the moment, but then it would be very close between RB and Race Clutch, I believe, depending if Tom Manley's able to get back up to where he originally was in towards that top 3.
As we do see, Barry Burman looks to take the lead again away from Lucas Blakely. Thomas Ronhaar as well, looking to get involved. He goes to the outside of Blakely into turn 1. Looking to make that move for second place in the R8G, but Lucas will defend it as they head their way through. And we'll see as they head side by side down to turn number 4. Another few battles as well, further behind all for the bottom positions. As we do see Ron Hard get up into second. A brilliant move there from the R8G. Further back as well, Ishmael Fassi here on the back of John Evans. And this is not going good for Ferrari, especially for John Evans here in that P11 position, possibly dropping to P12. What will Ishmael do? They have a bit of contact. He's got the inside line. Following him through will be Leo Lund as we head our way down to the hairpin. John Evans looks to defend that P11 position. He needs it here for Ferrari. Every point counts here for Ferrari in this championship, and it all is as more important as the other as we head our way out of the turn 10 left-hander. And I think for now, John Evans has got that move covered. Some brilliant defence there from the Ferrari of John Evans.
Absolutely. We've not seen too much of John in the Scarlet Red Scuderia, but we have seen him time and time again represent other teams out there, and by no far and away is he a slouch, is he? He's more than happy to battle tooth and nail for every single position on the track, and especially when he knows the championship could be lurking. With just finishing a measly P7, he will be defending with every ounce of grit he has against the likes of Ishmael, Leo Lund, Fabrizio Genoso, Nelson Alves. I feel like whatever comes his way, he's more than willing to try and put up a little bit more of a defence, but he's going to be really careful not to lose touch of that 1 second gap. If he loses touch, I know most of you are aware of Formula 1, but he will lose touch of DRS, and that'll make him a sitting duck heading down into turn 1, similar to what he is at the moment with Leo Lund and Ishmael Fassi going either side of him, doing a brilliant move there, and a cheeky little double overtake there for Leo Lund. Maybe not just a qualifying merchant right now.
Yeah, a brilliant move there by Leo Lund. Absolutely superb, wasn't it, there by the Veloci Academy driver. Further behind as well, Donoso's catching up on Evans. This is not going well at all for John Evans. I'm not sure if he's got any damage or maybe just not feeling too happy right now at this point in the race, as we'll have a little look further up as Declan Barrett has closed in here to the back of Lucas Blakely. We'll see if he looks to make a move for the top three as we head our way to turn 10. Oh, a bit of a send there from Papinta. Nearly hits the back of Barrett heading through in towards that left-hander. And, of course, DRS being enabled once again down to turn number 12. And we'll see if we'll get any moves heading on to the next lap. Tom Manley, I've got to say, has definitely recovered well. He had that big issue, didn't he? But he's only dropped down to P9, so it's not the worst in the world here for Tom Manley and Red Bull. But they would certainly have still liked to be up in the top 5, because that could have gave them a good chance at trying to possibly get P2 in the standings, depending where Ferrari and Red Switch finished.
Yeah, potentially even a win if Barry ends up having a couple issues. But with those three seemingly swapping orders at the top on a lap-by-lap basis, you can probably count your bets until at least the first round of pit stops. Barry's going to be sitting up there. Race Glitch is going to be looking pretty in P5, P6. Very much comes down to what Tom's going to be able to do in P9 and what John's going to be able to do down in P13, because you would imagine them to try and look to make a couple extra moves here somewhere, maybe be a little bit more cheeky. A little bit tongue-in-cheek, try and get something sorted. Even if it's not necessarily on the cards, at least try and send a dummy. Do something to try and upset maybe one or two of the other cars around you. But as you can imagine, the stewards have had a fair amount of complaints. We've got the managers from both Ferrari and Aston Martin unhappy that Manley is allowed to keep racing with his internet connection at the moment. But from what we see on the spectator cams, it does look like it has got slightly better.
Yeah, definitely. It's getting a little bit more comfortable now. As I say that, he jumps around heading into turn 10, but hopefully his issues do get resolved quite quickly, and he can continue on at full speed. As just here watching Papinta heading down to turn 11, he'll be looking to make some moves here. The good thing is, though, for Race Clutch, Red Bull and Ferrari is that RHG and McLaren aren't in this fight, so they're not going to be as feisty as the other teams would, so maybe that could help them when looking to try and find some positions.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it is one of those things that we will just have to keep an eye on, because a lot of these teams, they'll have somewhat interpersonal relationships with the other teams they're racing with. There will be rivalries which have been formed both here in E-Series and outside of E-Series, that they will want bragging rights to finish above certain other teams, especially in the finale of a season. So if, for example, let's use this for a great point. If McLaren were able to overtake and, cause a little bit of disrepute to maybe an R8G or a Ferrari and cause them to lose a couple positions, they would take a little bit of pride in that. They would take a little bit of, a little bit of dark arts, a little bit of a cheeky smirk away from that. So that's something we do have to be mindful for, because, again, a lot of these teams looking at just to play a simple game of checkers. I'll beat you, happy days, I'll take your position. While other teams are looking to try and play chess, if a certain team does so much, this other team will beat them, and it looks bad on them.
It certainly does. I mean, just watching here, Burman in second place, he'll be eager to get first. Normally, they're happy to sit in second, but Burman knows that a win would be beneficial for him. So he will be pushing a little bit more than normal to try and put himself into that first place position as we head our way through down to turn 11. Of course, turn 1's a few corners away. We're only on lap 14 and 29 here, nearly halfway through this Grand Prix. And so far, it's going to be an interesting one towards the end of who will win the championship, because Ferrari and Race Clutch, I think, are very close on points, no matter where they finish now. So this will be an interesting one. Obviously, with John Evans in P13, he doesn't take away many points at all, does he? Whereas Barry, though, up in P2, will still take 28 at minimum.
Oh, mate, I'm not sure which way this is going to go. Of course, first round of pit stops haven't even occurred yet. Everyone's still out on the unanimous hard compound tyre. Only a couple of drivers out of the DRS train, that being Riley McKay and Valentino Labella, who got caught up in a first lap incident.
Josh,
very much, yes.
Angelo, wasn't he the one that was 5 seconds back earlier on?
No, that was Valentino.
Right. I was going to say, otherwise, Hayes got up into P15, but he's just made a brilliant move there ahead of Nelson. And, of course, remember, TRT and TES are fighting with VA for the Community Championship, so that'll be a thing that we can keep an eye on towards the end of the Grand Prix. And bit of a surprise to see Ruben Pedreño involved in that battle. He's then in P18. He's an esports driver. He should be a little bit higher than P18 at the moment, as we just see a great move there by Hoffman, looking to get ahead of Lekomsky into turn 10 up the inside of the McLaren. This could be a brilliant move here by the Aston Martin on the McLaren driver as they head their way down towards turn 11. And no, it was, we went for it. He get it a good go, but it wasn't quite enough there for Duncan Hoffman to move up into P9 ahead of Szymon Lekomsky. And I think Duncan started a bit higher, so it hasn't been the best start for him here in this Bahrain Grand Prix.
Absolutely. Right, so given the way things are standing at the minute, Race Clutch with a P5, P6 would bag them a total of 38 points. Barry by himself in P1 would get 35 points.
Oh, that is a lot, isn't it? But then again, the gap in the championship will still only be like
6
10
points.
at the end, won't it?
Yeah.
It's
But then
that
again,
insane.
You know, next season, the season after, are we really going to look at the gap in the championship, or are we going to look who's been able to get P1, P2? Simeon Lekomsky makes a cheeky move there on Tom Manley. Tom went a little bit deep there into turn 1, loses out of position. Lekomsky seems to have had a little bit of fire shoved up his gearbox at the minute, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely getting a move on here for the McLaren team as, yes, again, Hoffland here looking to make a move, but failing at it. But the final straw definitely not looking too well here for Hoffland at the moment, as Ismail Fassi now looking to try and move up into P10, but can't quite find a move as they head into the hairpin as they emerge again over the hill. Looking further at the front, of course, Burman still has the lead of the Grand Prix ahead of Thomas Ronhaar in second place and Lucas Blakely in third as we head our way down to turn 11 once again for the 16th time in this race, Josh. And I'm starting to think now, maybe this lap, maybe next lap, the pit stops start to come in.
You got to think, don't you? Which one of these drivers, which one of these teams wants to initiate that first undercut, go out and risk
Maybe
it
John
a little
Evans.
bit? The drivers with very little to lose might be looking to try and grab a couple free positions. But again, it's the same sort of notion we've seen time and time again here in E-Series and in PCF1 and even in PCF2. The drivers who tend to pit later on the fresher tyres towards the end, they'll be more than happy to take risks to make sure they can get through and somewhat dart through the field at an alarming rate, to be quite honest with you. You might think only 2 or 3 laps later, but with that, you'll get in an awful lot more grip in order to make a couple of these moves. I believe that was a little bit more lag. Right, that was a heart attack in a bottle. But he's made his move back up into P8 there against Simeon Lekomsky. Lekomsky not wanting to have any sort of problem, though, with Manley after his teleporting sideswipe into the wall. But he's okay, because it never really happened. It's just a figment of our imagination.
Yeah, I mean, the teams aren't too happy at the moment, are they, with this? But, I mean, at the end of the day, Manley wants to race, and he's entitled to. So I think the teams have just got to put up with it for now, unless it gets to the point where cars are being sent off the circuit. Then, of course, it's a different issue. But for now, no one's really been, caught off guard by it that much. They're just got to try and deal with it as it's going on. But looking at the front here, you can see Thomas has pulled a little bit of a gap there for a second to Barry, but remember, it does come back in very quickly once that DRS is enabled, heading into turn number 11. Looking further back as well there, John Evans still in that P13 spot, under pressure here from Fabrizio Donoso. Of course, these two would have been former teammates last season when John Evans was back in Aston Martin, but of course, he's now here in Ferrari.
This is what I was alluding to earlier about these interpersonal relationships and potential rivalries. Did John leave on good terms in Aston Martin?
I mean, I don't really know, but at the end of the day,
exactly,
they're still going to fight for it either way. As much as they might be friends, they're still enemies when it comes on the racetrack. As Lekomsky makes a pit stop.
Exactly.
Oh,
he's got 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Again, another one of those avoidable things. But like I was saying,
ooh, that was a bit of a send. He made it 3 wide and ended up going deep and nearly gets caught up by Burman. Heading up to turn 4. Barrett as well, looking to get involved and make a move ahead of Ronhaar. And also, we've got the 2 race clutches getting involved, Josh.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether you saw that little swerve there from Blakely. I believe that was him apologising to Barry behind that little tap there.
Oh, Manley.
Perhaps didn't feel like he was able
he's gone backwards. Sebastian Vettel, that is. He did the exact same thing there before.
Interesting. Well, let's hope it's a Interlagos Sebastian Vettel.
Well, unfortunately, Josh, Red Bull Racers Championship at this point.
It does very much look like it at this moment, but that doesn't take away from the fact
remember
you've got
Abu
a
Dhabi 21
battle.
though, Josh. Remember.
Oh, I mean, we could use a less controversial one.
I know, but I love it though.
Yeah, I know. But we could also mention about the time Sebastian Vettel was stone dead last, back in Interlagos, drove through the field, his hero, his legend, Michael Schumacher, allowing him to pass. Imagine that, a Mercedes allowing a Red Bull to go past nowadays. I don't think that one would stand very well.
No.
But with all that being said, we still have a fantastic battle evolving and alluding here, because all it'll take is John Evans to lose a couple more positions, Barry to have a little bit of a wobble, maybe get undercut by one of the race clutch cars, and we could be looking at race clutch being the championship leaders, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. We've got Blakely and Papinta both diving in the pits. This is where we're going to see the first large haul of these hard compound runners diving into the pits. potentially get a set of soft compound
Yeah.
tyres on. I can't imagine him going over to the
Manley.
mediums.
He's out.
Manley speeding in the pit lane, retired in the pit box as well. Unfortunate day for Manley and, of course, Red Bull team, but they've still got one driver out there who's looking to try and put a little bit of a silver lining onto their debut here in E-Series, and, of course, that'll be Declan Barrett.
Certainly. I mean, Declan's been here every race this season, bar one. You know, he's been a brilliant, brilliant role model here for the Red Bull team, and the consistency shown, and all the races he's turned up to, absolutely brilliant here by Declan Barrett. So no matter where he finishes, he should be proud of his season so far here in E-Series, as we do see Reesington defending there from Duncan Hoffman for P4 as they head their way down to turn number 10. But Reese defends that P4 just for now, and I presume he'll be looking to pit probably on this lap. Yes, Josh?
Just got to point something out as well. You're not allowed to pit on the same lap as your teammate, right?
Nope.
Well, TES are in trouble then. Nelson Alves, Daniel, both went into the pits on that lap. Both came out on that lap.
Oh.
Unfortunate for them, but let's pretend that didn't happen for their sakes, and let's keep it level-headed. There's a chance. It is a penalty for that.
No,
it's a slam dunk penalty for that.
What is it?
I believe it's 10 seconds to the end of race time.
Oh, no.
So it's quite a big one, but we are seeing the rest of these drivers going towards the pit lane, all of them locking up their brakes, trying to slow down as late as possible before heading into the pits, trying to carry as much speed as possible, as you would expect these drivers, all now darting in, going over to a set of soft compound tyres. The question is, has any damage been done from the likes of Lukomsky and Blakely, who went in at that little bit earlier? We're going to have to wait and see here, as Lukomsky will be taking the net lead of this race, with Lucas breezing back past him, heading down into T1. That undercut is ridiculous, mate.
But something's telling me, has Reesington made that strategy wrong, the choice there, because he stayed out with John Evans. And look how far down Barry Burman's came out. He's came out behind the two Williamses and Leo Lund. There was P12 and P13 earlier on. As Angelo is ahead of Declan Barrett, and he was third.
You've got to think, Nathan, and folks at home, all Reese has to do is cover off John in a form and a regard, and Lenny just has to outscore Barry by 7 points.
This could be brilliant, couldn't it, at the end?
Clutch could be champions. Pressure's on now. This is where diamonds are made. We know Barry Burman. We know he's fantastic. We know he's brave. He's daring. He's ambitious. But will he have that ability to sieve his way through the field on
hard.
1 or 2 lap pressure tyres around this Bahrain International Circuit? You said it's going to be hard. I think it might be a little bit more than hard, given the lack of overtake we saw in that first stint.
Do they pit?
Oh,
yes, they do.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure how this one's going to go. It's the 4 red cars
so
battling for the title.
Well, McLaren do have that 10 second for Lukomsky, though, so we've got to keep that in mind in terms of position. So Lenny Papinta's on for a net P2 here, and Barry Burman will be on for a net P7 as we head our way down to turn number 1. Papinta takes the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, looking to make a move ahead of Lukomsky. Where's he going to go? He's going to go and try and take the lead of the Grand Prix. Heading down to turn 1, he goes to the outside of Lucas Blakely. Can he take that P2 away from the McLaren? Yes, he can. Papinta up into P2. We've got Leo Lund getting ahead of Tamas Gal now. Barry Burman looking to close in, as we also do see Pedronio drop behind the Ferrari of Barry Burman further back as well. We do see John Evans come out in P15. Reese Linton has gone for a set of the medium tyres, so is he hoping that these softs die off quickly? That could be an interesting one there for Reese Linton. Will this strategy work? Race Clutch throwing something different into this Grand Prix.
Yeah, not sure about that one. We might have to get resident Yona Martins on board to
Yoda,
see
tell
if
us.
that's a good
Does it
shout
work?
or not. Ooh.
It's interesting, but we'll see. We can't knock it because we don't know what's going to happen towards the end. These softs do die after about 3 or 4 laps, but then again, the mediums, how long is it going to take for those to have that advantage over the softs? That's the question that will be asked. And of course, Linton has a 2.5 second gap to Duncan Hoffman, so maybe his game here is just to hold back John Evans.
Yeah, it could very much be.
That's all he can do right now.
You do have to think, Envy is absolutely correct in the YouTube chat. He doesn't have a DRS. He might be cooked heading down the straight. And then all John would need to do is really maximise his Sector 1 to be able to try and pull out some form of gap to make sure he keeps that race clutch car behind. But as things stand at the moment, McLaren Shadow 1-2. First time we've said that all season.
Yeah.
And it might... Imagine if it's another 1-2. I don't want to write anything.
It won't, because he got a penalty, so I won't class it as one.
Oh, don't get off it. You never know. You never know at the end of the day, do you? we could, have a stopwatch freeze and Lukomsky just drives off 10 seconds of a road and then everyone presses play again. And it all goes back to a form of normality. But certainly something which, might not necessarily be the most normal for those watching at home. It's seeing a driver such as Leo Lund for one of the community teams rocking it out there in P5 with Barry Burman applying the pressure behind. We've already mentioned Leo enough in this stream. So let's have a look at where Barry could potentially try and make a move. If you were in Barry's position, Nathan, where are you looking to make that overtake?
Probably down to turn one. I mean, Barry's aggressive. Leo's aggressive. This might end bad for both of them here. But I'll be honest, Leo Lund might not finish P5 because he's already killed someone down at turn 8 on lap 1. So, he's already added to his fate. But ignoring that part, he's P5. We said he's brilliant in the race. We said that every race this season because he is. His pace is electric in a race format. I mean, give it a couple of years. I can see him in an esports seat at this rate. Give him some more prep on the qualifying and he's going to be a top driver. For sure. So we do see a message in the chat. Envy, commentators, do you know what the standings are looking like right now? To be honest, no, because it's changing around that much. I don't have a clue.
Right now, if it stays exactly how it is, with Lukomsky still in P2, they'd be absolutely equal on points. But Barry has just made a move. We will have to assume Lenny and Barry will get pushed up slightly further. Unless Lenny makes a move for the lead of this race, it'll be heading Ferrari's direction, regardless of what happens with John and Reese.
Of course, as I'm just trying to... I'm going to get the point system up on my screen as well, up on my phone, so I can figure out what's going on. As we do see Ishmael Fassi make a move up into third ahead of Pepinta, looking to get possibly into second place. This is definitely not helping Pepinta. It's helping Burman, though. He could be looking to make a move ahead here of the race clutch driver as we head our way down to turn 8. And this is prime here for Barry Burman. He wants to make that move ahead of Pepinta. He's going to try his hardest. But Thomas Ronhar is on the scene. He's looking to make a move ahead here of Barry Burman as we head our way down to turn 9 and turn 10. Further back as well, Leo Lund's dropped 3 positions on 1 lap as we got Tamas Gal heading up the inside here of the Veloci Academy driver. And then also Donoso as well, looking to make that move. Has Lund got damage? I don't think he has there. So I think he's just had a bit of misfortune on this lap as we head our way around turn 12. And R8G looking for a decent Grand Prix here, looking for a P5, P6 finish due to the penalty for Lukomsky as we head our way back down to turn 14. And Ishmael Fassi, what a race he has had. He started down in, was it P15 or something like that? He's now up in the top 3, looking for a podium, possibly looking for a win.
Mate, he's absolutely chefed something up here. I can't tell whether it's raw at the moment or whether he's just done it just perfectly. We'll have to wait and see what sort of spices he'll add in towards the cooking pot. Lenny looking to try and get something cooking, looking to just try and get his front wing somewhere with a lovely little tap there. A little bit of aggressive rubbing his racing down into turn 2. Ronhar there, I believe he's had a spin to make him fall down further in the order of recently now making a move past Ronhar. But with all that being said, Lukomsky now doing a brilliant job to back up the field. Very cheeky of him.
Yeah, but oh wait, yeah, look how quick they are. Reasington's back in the train here, so maybe it's not the worst position. But Angelo, again, look at this. He's P10, Josh. He started P17. He's P10 at the moment. Brilliant here from TRT's Angelo D'Ortenzio. This could be the race that TRT need to try and take that top community spots here in the community standings as we head our way down to turn 8 and 9 and 10. We've got cars making moves everywhere. Leo Lund looking to make a move and defend against Hoffman. We've got Donoso and Gal having a bit of a battle. We've got Burmand and Pepinta, the 2 protagonists of the Ferrari race clutch battle here, looking to make their moves ahead of each other to try and fight for that championship even harder as we head our way through into turn 13 and 14. And Josh, this couldn't get any better. We got Ferrari and Race Clutch together, P4, P5. We've got Ferrari Race Clutch, P14, P15. They're so close together here in the championship, and it's all down to these 4 drivers. No one else will make that impact apart from those. And the key thing here for Reese and John, Fab's got a penalty.
Absolutely. It could be absolutely electric as we do see Barry pull over towards that outside line. This time, Lenny's just going to try and defend the inside. He's going to be late on the brakes. We know how brave Lenny can be on those brakes. He's more than willing to drive it a little bit deeper into the corner. But Barry, as you mentioned earlier, is just as aggressive. He's going to be taking that with a little bit of wheel tapping to make the move, heading back in towards the inside for approaching down in towards turn 4. We see an absolutely outrageous send there from Duncan Hoffland in the background on Leo Lund, looking to try and get out of position. It'll swap back towards the inside racing line, but Leo's dancing himself around the outside of the Veloce Academy car, trying not to get it caught up in contact, Barry. We've got a Ferrari car making a move of Barry Burmand. Nathan, this is all kicking off 4 laps before the end.
It is. We're not even in the final lap yet, and they're all kicking off. We've got Lekomsky up the inside of Boromir. We've got Pepinta looking to try and capitalise off this and make that move up into the top 4 ahead of Lekomsky, as we do see Lekomsky move to the left. Surely Pepinta will be looking to make that move, but he can't. He sticks behind as they head their way into the left-hander at turn number 11. Looking further back as well. Reesington's dropped behind John Evans, so at this point, Ferrari will win the championship here. Reesington has definitely not played this strategy well by having a set of the medium tyres. John Evans already on the attack here. Angelo D'Ortenzio looking to make 2 positions due to the penalty of Donoso and Gal, but also they will all make a position because of Lekomsky's penalty. His penalty will drop him all the way down to P17, I think, Josh. What a shame that would be for Lekomsky after driving such a good race. But Pepinta now on the attack, looking to get P4 back from Lekomsky. And we'll see if Pepinta can charge it and make a move ahead of Boromir down to turn 1. Is he going to send it? He was thinking about it. He's thinking about it, but no, he can't because Lekomsky is back up the inside.
Absolutely, you can see that as well. The way Barry placed his car slightly towards the inside line, not necessarily completely over to the left to try and maximise his speed. Just boxed Lenny in so he couldn't get anything sorted when Lekomsky decided to send it slightly deeper around the outside. But we can see here a lovely little bit of racing, a little bit of a squeeze there as well. And Duncan Hofland looking to try and get himself in the mix, trying to pick off another position after he already picked off Leo Lund last lap. He's looking to try and get Lekomsky this lap down the inside. Out of a tight right-hander, not quite a hairpin, but he's been able to get that move sorted with a little bit of battery deployment to make sure he's going to be keeping hot on the heels of that Lenny Pepinta race clutch car sitting in P4, as Lenny is going to be looking to try and get something sorted on Barry in the coming laps. It's heating up.
Of course, in a good recovery here from Ronhart, up into P10 already, looking to make him move for P9 ahead of Donoso as they head their way into turn 11 and 12 now. Can't quite find the overtake, but we'll be looking for it possibly down to turn number 1. Championship-wise, P4, P15, P3, P12, I think it definitely is looking to go Ferrari's way. But anything can happen in these last couple of laps, Josh. You never know what's going to happen here in E-Series. One slight mistake for Boromir could end it all. One slight mistake for Pepinta could end it all even more for Race Clutch. But I'm starting to think now, if you're Pepinta and you're Race Clutch, you've got nothing to lose here. You're not going to lose P2. Make a send. Dive bomb. You've got to try it at that point, haven't you? Because he's not going to lose anything by doing it, apart from that second place that he would have lost anyway. As we do see Leo Lund there, making a brilliant move ahead of Lekomsky, looking to make a move ahead of Hofland. It's been a superb performance here by the Veloce Academies. You also see Ronhart on the outside of Donoso, heading up to turn 4. And I've got to say, Josh, for a race that normally isn't that entertaining at Bahrain, this has been absolutely brilliant so far. Moves everywhere.
Absolutely, Ronhart's not looking to put an end to the show right now, as he's going to be looking to try and swing it around the outside very second to a brilliant move there from Ronhart. Gets a little bit argy-bargy with Fabrizio Donoso. We've got Tamás Gell having a very late send up the inside, having almost a half spin. That'll give John Evans a free position up into P11. But you know something, Nathan? Once upon a time, there was a driver called Michael Schumacher who had a very similar thought process. Exactly what you described that Lenny might have at the moment. What is there to lose? You go for a move, you look a bit silly. It's not the end of the world.
It's not.
You do just have to go for it. And unfortunately for Lenny, I think he might have left it a little bit too long, as Duncan has now made the move on him up into P4. This is just going to add a little bit more pressure to Lenny, because this way he's got to get past Hofland and Barry as well.
What a move there from Barrett. Got a brilliant move, switch back up on Lekomsky. As Ronhart goes for a send into the final corner, bit of contact. Lekomsky gets pushed wide, and there that brings Fabrizio Donoso into the battle. Down to turn 1 we go. Oh no! Oh my! Donoso nearly got pushed into the pit lane. As Leo Lund makes a massive... Leo Lund, what a send! He's made it past 1, looking to make it past 2.
I am lost for words at what we've just seen here. It's lap 28. We've still got one more racing lap to go, guys. Let's not put it in a wall just yet. As we've got Barry Burman looking to try and make a move as well, slightly further up. Trying to put a bit more pressure on Blakely Fassi, just doing exactly what he needs to do. Currently sitting in the race lead. It's not the most favourable position heading on to the final lap. But with that being said, I don't think there is a favourable position. Given the precedented circumstances we find ourselves in at the moment. Lenny Pepinta sitting P6 is one thing he wants to do, and it's get a move on, try and get a couple extra positions. But at the same time, he does have to keep an eye behind him. We're oh-mying. That's when you know something's good is going to happen.
Was right up the left-hand side there, heading into turn 9. That could have ended badly. What has this been, Josh, this last couple of laps?
Manic, mate. It's been absolute manic, and I am here for it every single step of the way. chat with a final lap to go. Ferrari look to be the favourites, but let us know who you think is going to be able to take away this race win. Ishmael Fassi, Lucas Blakely, Barry Burman, Duncan Hoffland, and Leo Lund.
Ooh.
Maybe even a Declan Barrett, who's made a very brave last-minute move on Lady Papinta. But you got to think, with Thomas Ron hot on the heels, he's going to be looking to try and get a send down into the final couple corners. A little bit of argy-bargy pushing, tapping wheels, rubbing us racing. He's been able to get that move sorted on Lenny Papinta, and now it very much does look like all hope Race Clutch might have had to take this title. Seems to have gone, but the battle for the lead is still raging. Got to go 3 wide down into turn 1. Blakely in the middle. He's going to get the favoured line, but is Barry going to be able to cook anything back on the switcheroo? Because he'll have the DRS and the best run heading down in towards turn 4.
Of course, we'll see here, can Burman take the lead? He's gone to the outside. He's made a brilliant move there. Burman through 2 positions into 1 corner. Burman now is leading the way for Ferrari, looking to try and concrete that championship for Ferrari in Season 4. They did it Season 2, Season 3. They're looking to do it once again as Tamas Gal gets a penalty there for making a move off the circuit. Making a corner cut there, so he would have probably made a move as well off the track as Hoffland there looks to get P3 away from Ishmael Fassi. A brilliant move there by the Aston Martin, and also Lucas Blakely's in the battle there for the win. And can Barry make it even better by taking a win for Ferrari as well as a championship, because Race Clutch's race has fell apart because Papinta is staying in P8, Linton staying P13, as we do see a brilliant battle for second place there between Hoffland and Blakely. But John Evans is within a position here of running Papinta, so no matter what, I think Ferrari have certainly got this championship, and it's been a brilliant run the whole season long. Many podiums. They've had 2-on-2s in this championship, all those battling further behind, but Barry Bromand is not bothered at all because they've tried so hard. They nearly lost it in Season 3, they got it. They nearly lost it in Season 4, but they'll get it again. Ferrari take the championship for E-Series Season 4 with Duncan Hoffland on the podium and Ishmael Fassi as well for Williams getting up into 3rd. And what an ending we had, but Ferrari, we couldn't really doubt them at all, could we?
No, took it all the way into the last race once again here, but Ferrari do what they do best. They work together as a cohesive unit, gelling absolutely phenomenally, and again, walk away with the championship. And Barry Burman as well, picking up a race win. It is traditional at this point. He is such a talented driver. Even when he's not bouncing off the likes of a Longuet, he still has the cojones to go and perform, to go and get the maximum out of whatever situation he's put in. Duncan Hoffland, another great race. Ishmael Fassi, he's got to be my driver of the day. He's made the most moves. He looks comfortable. He looks confident out there. Brilliant stuff there from Williams. It's unfortunate this is the final round of the season. I would have liked to see a little bit more of it slightly earlier on. But as far as things go, Ferrari Esports are your champions. Race Clutch, I believe, will finish P2 and Red Bull Sim Racing P3. Talk about a top 3.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I mean, Aston Martin have got their, I think, 2nd podium of the season. Williams with their 1st podium. They've been nowhere this season. They might even have a chance to jump up into P9 or P8 in the standings along with that. But a superb race. We'll run you quickly through the order. So it's Barry Borman to win ahead of Duncan Hoffland, Ishmael Fassi in 3rd. Blakely just missing out on the podium in P4, followed by Declan Barrett, Leo Lund, Thomas Ronhall, Lenny Papinta, John Evans and Reece Linton in the top 10. Then we'll have Angelo Dortenzio P11, followed by Ruben Pedronio, Fabrizio Donoso, Daniel Coyet, Nelson Alves, Shimon Lekomsky, Tamas Gal, Riley McKay, Valentino Labella, and then of course we did lose, unfortunately, Tom Manley. But championship-wise, Josh, I think Leo Lund might have done it for Veloce Academy here. I'm not quite sure. It'd be close between TRT and VA there. Yeah,
but certainly one thing we can take away from that is Leo Lund having another great performance.
Absolutely
Again,
amazing.
He's not just a quality merchant. He's evolved.
He has.
He's leveled up. He's learned. It's took him long enough. But no, realistically, it's brilliant to see that he's able to translate it across to race pace as well. It is absolutely fantastic. So we are going to be looking at potentially trying to get a couple of these drivers in for interviews. But then again, we should probably mention our beautiful sponsors here at PSGL, because without them, none of this would be possible, would it be, Nathan?
It certainly would not. Of course, it's great to have our sponsors here for the whole season. And of course, I believe GT Omega help fund the prize pool, which makes it even better for the teams, because I think it's, right off my top of my head, 475, 275, 150, then 100, I think. Hopefully.
Right, can you say that in like numbers people understand instead of just shouting numbers out?
£475 for the winner, £275 for second, 150 for third, and then you will get 100 for the best community team. And we'll drag in Ferrari. We'll bring them in first. We're going to bring John and Yona in. We'll see if Barry joins as well. We've got Duncan in there as well. We'll bring them all in. Let me just pop us onto the interview screen. There we go.
Yes.
So we'll bring everyone in.
There we
Welcome
go.
in, guys. So, first of all, before we get to Ferrari, we'll have a quick chat with Duncan. Duncan, welcome in, mate. Great to have you with us. P2, the race is looking... sorry, P2 or P3. The race was looking different, decent at the start, but you kind of just sprung up at the end, didn't you?
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's of course we went quite late, quite long, and got fresh tires at the end, and really worked well. Then I think there was an incident up ahead, and I managed to get past like 4 guys, so that helped a lot. Then I saw the 3 guys ahead of me in the final lap pushing a lot, so I just saved battery, and because of that I managed to get past Ismail and Luke's as well. So very happy.
Of course, I mean, going into this race as well, there wasn't much on the cards for the team, and she was kind of in that P4 position. You couldn't really lose much from R8G, but you couldn't really cash up to the top 3. So I suppose a lot of it was about just trying to see what you could do around Bahrain, because normally it's on the esports calendar, so it'd be great to race at it and just kind of see where the team's at. How did you enjoy today's race? Did you think the pace was good?
Yeah, I think it was like half an hour before the qualifying session we found a better setup. So and then I think before the actual session I made another change. So I was driving with a setup. I haven't done a lap with that before, but managed to work out quite well. Same for race, just on all tires was a bit of a struggle. I think I pushed too much as well at the start of the stint on the hards, but yeah, I think we can be quite happy.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think you've definitely got that P4 in the championship confirmed, so it could have been better. Of course, you didn't get the best start, and you definitely missed out on a couple of some big opportunities. But in the end, it's a decent result, and maybe if you join again next season, if the team does, you can try and fight even harder. But of course, well done, Duncan, on the P2. A brilliant race from yourself, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much, and congrats to Ferrari.
Brilliant stuff.
So,
Moving over, Ishmael, P3 from P15 on the grid. How did you avoid everything, mate? That was absolutely brilliant to see.
I mean, first of all, GG's to Ferrari. They deserved it. And yeah, well, again, qualifying, bottling like crazy. Even though I thought I had decent pace to be in Q3, but then I saw the lap times from Barry, Tom, Tommy as well, and I was kind of shocked because I'm sure that I would have not done that, and I'm not even closer to that. But yeah, I'm sure that Q3 was there. Just me in qualifying like always.
Yeah, but
yeah.
like to have that consistency in the race, to be able to come through and deliver, despite obviously not feeling too confident after the qualifying runs, that is a really remarkable feat. So you should be really proud of yourself, pat yourself on the back for it. I mean, how do you have the mental fortitude to be able to do that? That's incredible.
I mean, I don't know. I just drive and try my best.
Just built different is basically what I'm hearing there. Of course, getting the podium, P3. It's unfortunate. It's the end of the season, but let's say season 5 does come around. Do you fancy your chances there to be able to come back for a couple more podium interviews, perhaps a couple race wins as well? Because from what we've seen there tonight, you were definitely one of the quickest, if not maybe the quickest driver, getting yourself through traffic, getting yourself battling for a couple positions.
I mean, I don't know. I hope so, you know. But yeah, in the race, I was just trying my best. I don't know how many contacts I had with people. But yeah, the strategy was just perfect. Well, not too much people pit at the same lap as us. I think only 2 cars or 3, so that was good. And yeah, on the last lap, just DRS and ERS not being enough. Like I had full deployment for the main straight, but just enough. It's not enough. So yeah, didn't have DRS. Neither Lucas, I think, out of turn 4, no, turn 3, sorry. Which was I was like, come on, he's in front of me. I don't have DRS. Barry behind with DRS. I'm done. So yeah.
But with that being said, still hanging on to P3. Certainly not a bad way to end the season, mate. Fingers crossed we'll be able to get you back in here for an interview later on. Is there anything you want to say to the folks at Williams who have been able to help you out with the strategy and help you throughout the course of the season? Because it's not been an easy season for Williams, has it?
Definitely not. I mean, we are used to fight for being in the top 6, top 7, top 5 podiums. We won a champion the first season. Um, but yeah, I mean, these things happen, so doesn't mean anything.
Absolutely. Season 5, back into the competing landscape. Looking to try and challenge Ferrari, Red Bull Race Clutch, whoever's going to try and step towards the occasion. Brilliant stuff. And it's a pleasure to see you back here in the podium, Ishmael. Going to wish you the best, and hopefully we'll be able to see you back for a Season 5 here at PSGL E-Series.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Right, so we'll have Barry and Jonah in next. We'll have a quick chat with Yona first. So, obviously, Yona, can you hear us firstly?
I'm here.
Yeah, perfect. So, of course, you kind of like ran the team throughout the season of, putting all the lineups in, doing all the behind the scenes bits. How would you say the season's gone as a whole for the team?
To be honest, I'm happy with how it ended up. I think the whole team pushed really hard for this because it just gives a great morale boost into the team. Having a championship under your belt before you go into the esports season. I think it's also really good for the drivers to get up to racing a lot, because on this game with all the chaos, it's really important that you learn the racecraft and the contact models. So yeah, I think we can be really happy as the whole team. To be honest, everyone can be proud. I've not just been the only one helping run. Ben in the background has helped a lot. Christine has helped with engineering basically every week as well. So yeah, I think everyone can be proud.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, obviously, we can presume that many of the tracks on the calendar probably will be featured in esports. So, do you reckon that E-Series is also a good way to prepare yourselves for the upcoming season?
I mean, definitely. Especially a race like this where there's a lot of esports drivers on the track. It helps a lot with also preparing the pace and seeing everyone else's pace a bit and your own pace. Like you can see a bit where you are in the packing order. So it's always good to see, and I think the racing part itself is where you learn the most in these races, because even if you're racing 8 community teams, it's still going to help you improve towards the season, which is really important.
Yeah, definitely. So, Yona, thanks for popping in and having a quick chat. Of course, well done to yourself and all of the team behind the scenes. Josh, would you like to have a quick chat with Barry?
Oh, I suppose I can. Barry, mate, again, pole position, extra point, helps you going in there. Coming away with another race win. Care to explain it, mate? It's just generational talent at this point.
Yeah, first of all, hello to all of you, and hello to everyone who are watching this race. But yeah, I mean, coming to Bahrain, obviously because I had to do PSGL Wednesday, I didn't know if I have enough preparation, obviously because it's a finale. And obviously we needed a really good result, and but yeah, the preparation went well. And I was so happy with my quality lab. Actually, it was really good. And obviously, Lucas, Thomas, and Tom, I believe, were following really closely. GG's to them as well. And also unlucky to my teammate in quali. I think he made a mistake. Otherwise, he would be up there as well. But yeah, I mean, everything went smooth in quali, I would say. And then in the race, I mean, start of the stint, we knew everyone gonna start on hard because it's been so many league races, and everyone knew hard soft is probably the best strategy. So we predict that and we put a hard as well. But I mean, first in, nothing really happened. Just saved the tires, just driving smooth, nothing really. And then in the second stint, when Lucas passed me and he used a lot of years, I knew we kind of predicted, our engineers, that he's gonna pit this lap. We tried one more lap, so we have a fresher tire at the end of the race. And yeah, I mean, just one by one passing driver, and finally, I'm so happy that I could take the championship and also the win.
Yes, it's absolutely fantastic stuff. Again, another trophy to put onto the cabinet shelf over in Maranello. How far do you reckon this team can go? I asked you slightly earlier in the season. You felt confident. Again, just showing another level of depth, another level of ability in the roster. Do you feel like there's any team out there which could potentially even come close to trying to stop you? Because it seems like you guys are, interplanetary, next solar system level ahead in thinking and being, able to work together efficiently enough out there on the track.
Well, to be honest, obviously there is always a teams that are really competitive, and they were also close as well. So GG's to them as well. It's been a pleasure battling them. And but obviously every championship like this, it's gonna be close. And but I'm so happy that we just took another championship, another trophy to our cabinet, let's say, and hopefully, I don't know, we will take a big one as well this year again, like last year. And that's it. To be fair, nothing to really add, but as I said, every team is competitive. You know, like I think the gaps were super close, if I'm not wrong.
No, it's really, really close. Again, just having that addition for pole position point just adds up so much. But then again, I can't. I'm not allowed. I've been told. Nathan's told me I'm not allowed to hog this entire interview with you as much as we could probably go on and yap for a good 20, 30 minutes. Do have to give Nathan an option to ask a couple of questions here.
See, I'd love to ask a question, but I haven't got any. But of course,
Oh,
Barry, just well, I can give him the
There we go.
congratulations because I mean, you know, it's brilliant to see you yourself, and obviously you've had Nicholas, John. I can't remember how many drivers have driven for you this season. There's been at least 5, and it's been a very good season. Of course, very consistent. A couple of rounds where it didn't quite go to plan, but in the end, 4 wins, 7 podiums. You can't really get much better than that, considering you won the championship by around 30 points to Race Clutch. So, definitely, congratulations to yourself, of course. Good luck to yourselves over
Yeah.
in WRT1, PSGL, and maybe next season if you turn up.
Yeah, thank you guys. And also I wanna say a massive thank you to everyone in the team. Obviously, it's not only this competition, but in practice general. I want to say big congratulations, and also thanks to the engineers, Yona, Ben, Christian, and also all the drivers. They deserve all of this win, and hopefully they're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, they should do. You know, you put a lot of work into it, so yeah, I'm sure they
Yeah.
will. I'm sure they will do indeed. But if not, you can do
Yeah,
it again
yeah.
next season for them.
Yeah, that sounds better. Let's just not celebrate this one, so we get the next one.
Make it 4 out of 4.
Yeah. I
Oh.
mean, doesn't seem like a bad idea, to be fair.
No, definitely not. I mean, it'd be nice to dominate, wouldn't it?
Yeah, save
Indeed.
it. Add it to another one. Oh, but no, very well done, and congratulations once again, Bardia. It's been absolutely fantastic to see you out there, out on track, strutting your stuff and showing what you're capable of, mate. So very well done.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much, guys.
Yeah, have a good
Thank
one,
you.
mate. Thanks for joining us,
Yeah.
Barry. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Lovely, lovely bloke. All of them are. Again, we're just spoilt, but unfortunately, Nathan, it has got to that part of the season again where we're going to have to hold back the tears.
Yeah, it's the worst part, isn't it? You know, you see
don't
you
like it.
smiling, but you know you smile because it's you've seen people win
yeah.
and you've had a brilliant chat. But the season's gone. It's done. Season 4 is over, and it's been a brilliant season. Of course, been a pleasure, Josh, to be with you again again. For season 4
with
the
me
commentary
again.
box.
It's all right. I'm sure
But I mean-
if we really want to, we can find someone to put you with. I'm sure.
I mean, we're not going to say too much, but there is plans in the pipeline for another season soon. So of course, keep yourselves, keep your eyes peeled for that in the future. But it's been a brilliant one, hasn't it, Josh? You know, the
Yes.
championship challenge has changed so much over every round of the season. Red Bull started off dominantly, 1-2 in the first race. You're thinking no one's going to stop them,
Yeah.
and in the end, Ferrari come back. Race Clutch, out of nowhere this season, was looking for the championship heading into the final round. Red Bull right there as well. And you've got to think some of the misfortune for the likes of R8G and Aston in their last couple of races. Think about where they could have been. They could have also been in that
Oh.
championship fight.
Yeah, exactly. It's something I'm really excited to see for season 5, because it is quite clear a lot more of these professional, the F1 official partner teams are looking to try and get involved in it.
Yeah.
I already know there's a team which aren't on the grid who do want to be in it for next season.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. I'm wondering at what
But
point.
Red Bull and RB.
We'll get VCarb in there as well. But no, seriously, overall, you do have to think at what point is it going to be right? The top 5 professional teams get in, the next 5, or community, and any of the top 5 teams which aren't there, because we could see some huge surprises. Imagine, right? I'm going to put it out there. Imagine if the Veloce Academy knocked out a McLaren. Imagine if a Race Clutch knocked out an Alpine.
Cause some issues, wouldn't it?
That would cause drama that you'd never
would.
seen before. Whereas, is it Victor who runs one of the accounts? Get him in this. It could be absolutely fantastic, because it could be fireworks left, right, and centre. But unfortunately, we will have to wait until that time comes, because I'm excited for it. I want to see what everything's going to somewhat unravel as well, because F1 sim racing, again, still none the wiser. Nothing publicly being said about it. again, could that be a bit of an overlap with these series? Is there going to be a point where some of these teams might have to put in both development drivers into it
Could be
and let these
interesting.
community teams take another step forward? For me, there's a lot of different ways it can go, Nathan, and I'm just excited to be here.
Definitely. There is. It's been a great season yet again. It's been enjoyable, and of course, E-Series ends for a while. We might be back. We might not be. We'll see. Of course, F1 has a break week next week, so there's no racing next week there. F2 through to F4 is also ended until the middle of October. So next week, there's nothing because the PSTs are also gone. So you now have a week.
PS on Monday. That's still there.
Oh, is it the final round? Oh,
yes,
okay.
Yes, we
Okay.
still have that.
There we are. My bad.
We got something to watch in the week.
Exactly, yeah. So PS will be back, and then they'll finish next week, won't they? So there'll be no more PS, which means you'll have F1 for 3 weeks, and then everything starts to kick back up again. F2, F3, F3, F4, all the PS tiers, F1, and then E-Series maybe a little bit further down the line. We'll see. We'll see what Connor decides to do. But I think me and Josh definitely think that there should be another E-Series season, shouldn't there?
Yeah, I feel like we should open it to 12 teams, 24 cars on the grid. We'll go back to F1 2004. No one's going to complain about handling models or collision damage. Everyone's going to be stuck to only racing around Monaco. We'll do it 100% race. No objections. It should be absolutely brilliant.
Of course. So, time for our final farewells of the season. Of course, thank you to everyone that's been in the chat throughout the whole of the season. Thank you to the drivers as well for taking part, all the teams for signing up, and of course, all the teams that tried to qualify earlier on in the season. A big thanks to you as well for trying to get yourselves up into the series. And of course, a big thanks to GTO Mega and Sim Racing Centre for helping make this series possible, and of course, the wonderful Connor for helping organise the whole series. It's been a pleasure to be in the commentary box alongside Josh, and we'll be back next season whenever it is. And until then, guys, get yourselves ready for F1 in a couple of weeks. Get back on Monday for PS, and then, of course, middle of October, F2, F3, and F4 return along with the PS tiers. So keep your eyes peeled for them. And then until then, guys, we'll see you then. Goodbye.